This is a very special episode of Just Let Me Have This. Normally, this is a podcast where lifelong friends discuss what our podcast should be about. But today, gentlemen, we're going to do something new, something different. Today, we're going to deep dive into a certain game that we all played and we all love, Final Fantasy VII.
Whoa. Are we supposed to act surprised?
No.
Okay,
We've been talking about this for weeks.
Okay.
We're all aware of it.
Is now a good time to tell you that I've never played it?
So today I'm joined by three guys who are all very special to me in different ways. So two of them, this audience has already been introduced to. So Patty Boy, say hi.
You wait till I take the biggest sip of tea ever to do that.
Known as Patty Boy his whole life, really.
I'm just protecting your identity.
That's perfect.
Chris.
Yes.
Chris M.
Must Christo?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
that's you.
That's me.
Introducing producer Steven, who is not only joining the discussion, but is also making it possible. So go ahead, Steven.
Hey,
There he is.
Really. Just a triple threat between production, technical acumen,
And
And-
beauty.
You told me once when I was listening to
Exactly.
NPR,
Recklessness.
Chris, that it always sounds like they're about to cry on NPR, and I was like, it does sound like they're always about to cry.
I said
but like
that?
I feel like I'm about to cry in the tone I've assumed right now. Anyway, I'm glad we're doing this. So we made this happen because Chris is in town. I can't tell what town we live in because I don't want to give away any of our towns.
calm.
I also don't want to tell what town Chris actually normally lives in,
It's far away.
Mid-Eel.
Mm. Oh.
But this is our first live pod. Normally it's over Discord, so you may see a bump up in quality that will not be matched by episode 4.
Yeah, normally we are dead.
It's compliments of Steven, by the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Thank you, Steven.
Yeah.
All of this equipment provided by and set up by Steven.
You're
And
welcome.
my God, does it sound beautiful.
It
Yeah.
sounds really good.
I would do myself.
We have to make
you
sure-
all
Based
sound
on
like
voice
broadcasters.
Which of our voices do you think you would date? Based on no looks.
Probably. I mean, Jesse has a very smooth voice.
That's wild to me. That's wild. That's
so
very nasally.
I think I would go for Jesse.
That's the right call. It's the wrong call, but it's the right call.
I could go the incestuous route.
I'm
Like it's
I'm
Chris.
personally deeply offended, but that's fine.
It's not incestuous. It's like there's all kinds of. Never mind.
Yeah, no. Unpack.
So, guys, let's rewind the clock back to 1997. We are, I believe, all 12 years old at this time. Stephen, how old are you at this time? 97.
97. I'm 8 years old.
Okay. Where was your headspace at in 97? What were you playing games? What were you in, like,
Was-
fifth grade?
What was your 401k
grade?
like?
Much worse than it is today. 8 years old. I was definitely gaming.
No.
I think at that point, Elliot had gotten the N64, but it wasn't until Chris arrived with the PS1 and FF7 that really kind of, turned the page
All right. So you came to it late.
a little bit.
All right. Chris, what about yourself?
97.
Yeah.
I remember exactly where I was when I had like my first zeitgeist moment with Final Fantasy VII, and I was in my science class with Mr. Workus in middle school, in Compswag Middle School. I
Don't-
gave away our location.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we could bleep that. And we were chatting about it, and I can't remember who was in that class, but it was a group of us. Pat, I feel like you were there.
Probably.
But we were talking about. We would come in and it would become a water cooler session essentially of where we were at in the game, and spoilers would potentially be leaked, and it was a crazy thing. But yeah, as far as games go, like that was it. That took over my life. I don't even think I could name another game besides like those demo discs that you got with PlayStation where I was playing Warhawk, the first level of Warhawk for 26 times in a row, or Jet Moto or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
Deep core memory. Yeah, you like got out of a Pizza Hut box.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pat, read yourself.
Uh,
We're walking as school buddies at this point.
So yeah, I think at that point I already had the PlayStation. We were doing like Twisted Metal and stuff like that. And the only reason I had even heard about the game was because you, Jesse, had picked it up. or maybe I don't know if you had the game or maybe it was the trial that you were playing, but you were like, no, this is going to be the biggest game there ever was, so you should get it. And I was like, okay. I'd never played a Final Fantasy before.
Yeah.
I had no idea what it was about. I'd never played an RPG before, so I was like, it was a completely different experience for me. And yeah, that completely sucked me in, man. Like just from the first time sitting down playing it, I don't think I stopped playing for like 14 straight hours. I don't think I got anywhere either, but I just couldn't stop playing
Hear
it.
that first door opening where you have to like time it with the other guy like this. That's funny you mentioned because I don't remember sort of introducing you to it. I only became aware of. I remember like an advertisement in GamePro, and it was just a picture of Midgar from like 3/4 view, super high up.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, it just like hit me. And I think another aspect that hit me was it was coming out on September 7th, which was like very close to my birthday. And it was like a thing I could sort of point to. And I remember like I was so excited. I don't know what this like the source of my excitement was, but I was so excited. My mom tied me over. She like gave me the strategy guide first. She was like
Prima official.
yeah, like a week like a week ahead of time. She was like, here you go. Like you're getting the game, like chill out, but I can't give it to you like many days in advance. And so I just like devoured that thing. But for some reason, I didn't like understand the concept of spoilers, so it just sort of like it wasn't a problem. Like
It was so much easier back then. No internet.
But yeah, like before that, my gaming experience was primarily PlayStation 1 games. It was a lot of Twisted Metal. For some reason, I remember that.
Yeah, we played a lot of that.
Crash Bandicoot. What was I playing back then? Like,
Yeah.
I never played an RPG either.
We were in that weird like crossover phase between N64, which already had the games we loved like GoldenEye and Perfect Dark and stuff like that. And the PlayStation had like a couple of games. Like Twisted Metal was awesome, but like there wasn't the game that was like, okay, we are past N64 now. That wasn't until I started playing Final
I guess like Mario
Fantasy.
64 was a big one. For
That's
me.
a huge
I mean,
one.
huge one, obviously.
Huge.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was in a so Resident Evil was before FF7.
96, right?
Yeah. So I'm actually looking at the 96 release list right now. Your hits included Resident Evil was definitely Wing Commander 3, which I did play.
I didn't play that. I knew
Played the
it was
shit out
out
of it.
there, but I didn't play it.
Those were the big ones, and then you had deep cuts like D,
Mm.
which was like a first-person spooky mist game. You had Frank Thomas Big Hurt Baseball, everyone's classic, definitely sitting there in the old thing. Hardball 5, Battle Arena Toshinden 2.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, you can go down the list there, but yeah, I wouldn't say there's a ton of bangers out at this point. So FF7 I think is really
Yeah.
besides Resident Evil.
Let's set the stage for the one person listening to this who doesn't know what this is. So this game came out on September 7th, 97. It was the latest in a series of RPGs created by legendary developer Squaresoft and the first entry on the new PlayStation system. And there's a whole background about all the heavy weather about which system this thing was going to be on, whether it be the SNES or the N64, but it finally landed on the PlayStation 3. I'm sorry, the PlayStation. Spanning over 3 discs. That was a 3. I saw it in my head. FF7 was a sprawling sci-fi fantasy epic that followed our hero Cloud Strife, a mercenary drawn into a battle against the corrupt megacorporation Shinra and the enigmatic villain Sephiroth as he uncovers buried memories, cosmic threats, and the true cost of saving the planet. The game delves deep into themes like identity, memory, environmental destruction, corporate greed, grief, redemption, and like with a little bit of terrorism in there. Like only having recently played it, I was like, wow, we were terrorists.
Yeah.
Really light topics for a 12-year-old to dive into, you know? This is some good,
Yeah, there's
not
a
too heady.
big genuine part where it's like, wait, are we the bad guys?
Yeah.
Kinda. Like neither one of us are right here, but like I don't think at the time I put that together. It was like, no, man, I'm Cloud's team. We're doing it.
It was part of the majesty of it, right? Like jumping in there as a mercenary, you're already in the gray, and you're literally committing an act of terrorism in the opening seconds.
Yes.
It's pretty heady stuff for a 12-year-old to dive into.
It was not immediately clear because like it starts into a mission going into the reactor 7, I believe it is. Like reactor 7, reactor 5, reactor 6?
7.
7?
I'm going to give you that. But it's Sector 7, so I don't know if the reactor's
I don't know the reactor number, but like the first thing you'd start. You sort of jump off the train. You're rushing in there. Pat's doing the math now. He's like, he's doing the calculations.
He's triangulating the
He's
positions.
triangulating. Yeah. But they don't show like people other than your team. Like it almost has like this vibe of like, oh, it's sort of empty.
It's Reactor 1.
Reactor 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Reactor 1, Sector 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you go in there, you bomb it, you blow out of there. You're introducing your main characters, your Clouds, your Barretts, your Tifas, and stuff like that. First question: you guys change Cloud's name when you guys made him?
Great fucking question, and yes.
Yeah.
See, I did not.
I did.
So
I did.
when I started playing FF7, I didn't realize how many characters you'd get to name. I had never encountered an RPG like this before. So I started with Musto for Cloud, which, by the way, is my name. So here we are blowing cover twice.
Yeah.
But then I realized that, like, oh, I look nothing like this person. And there are many characters that could work better for me. So I had 2 Mustos in my game.
Which was the second? Oh, can we guess the second one?
Ooh.
It's got to be Barrett.
What? Yes, that's.
Well, it has to be either
very close.
Sid or Vincent, right?
I won't say.
That's 100% Vincent.
On coolness factor,
Okay.
it would
Oh,
go
yeah.
It's
Vincent.
100% Vincent.
Okay.
It's 100% Vincent.
Yeah. But he only like didn't talk very much, so you're sort of safe there. It wasn't
And
like,
he was so late in the game.
yeah.
And I was like, this is me.
Finally
And I'm
found
not
myself.
him.
I was also a deep core.
So
Vincent guy.
critical to the game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We have a lot of Vincent stands. The worst fighting character, but the best vibe character.
Well, we can get to this.
Yeah. Okay.
We can get to that.
All right. So there's sort of a lot of ways to tackle this. Like we can go through characters now and sort of give our thoughts on them, or we can sort of go through like the big plots and like I don't want to say like plot point by plot point. I have like 4 or 5 sort of like big parts of the game, like turning points to sort of discuss. Do you guys want to do characters first or the sort of plotty points?
I don't know how you had this laid out. I probably should have read that, but I imagined in my head as we went through, we'd go like section by section as the game and kind of go.
Okay, all right. So let's do that then.
And then we can
Does
talk
anyone
about
disagree
the
with that?
characters as they come.
I
out.
think that's the right way to do it because like characters are associated with parts of the game.
Yeah.
Okay, Midgar. So the 4 big bullets I've got for Midgar here, and add things is like the opening, which is Avalanche, Shinra, Cloud, sort of being sort of like edgy and being too cool for school. Opening bombing mission. It's cold open. We're in it. Introduce also to Aerith, Ares. How we doing this?
Oh, that's a good one.
We were introduced to her, but it's just like a bump in. I don't
what
think
are we
you
saying?
don't even give a name
What are we
yet.
saying?
What
her
do you
name?
name her? What is her
Flower
name?
Girl. Should we call her Flower Girl?
It's Flower Girl for now.
Yeah.
She doesn't have a name
Oh,
yet.
All right, so
Yeah,
we need
you're
Flower Girl. Going to Wall Market. We're in Sector 7 for some tragic stuff going on there. We have Don Corneo.
Yeah, real tragic.
We have a way ahead of his time cross-dressing section.
Yeah, progressive even.
The Airbuster. First big fight there. Then you infiltrate Shinra HQ either in the front way or going up those stairs for 25 minutes.
I did both.
Did you?
You can go back.
You went back.
Yeah.
After I got to the top of the stairs, I went all the way down the stairs and then took the front elevator.
Was that like a masochistic completionist thing, or you actually?
I wanted to make
You got
sure
like
I
a piece of
didn't miss
gear.
anything.
Yeah, completionist thing. Yeah.
You're like a Megalixer, I think.
Yeah.
Steven,
Shinra HQ. Yeah, go ahead.
How'd you approach Shinra Tower when you were going up the stairs? Did you go up the stairs? Did you fight your way up or what?
I'm pretty sure I did it the quickest way possible. I'm trying to put myself back there. I was maybe 10. It was the first game that I think gripped me with the opening bombing music. So I think I was just so excited to play it that I just rushed through it. And I think still even today I would probably miss a lot of those secret chests.
Oh, okay. That's an interesting take. I did have it. Is it okay if I like jump in with like topics on things?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the opening bombing mission, I think, is that is probably one of the more, if not most, iconic openings to any game. Like, what were your thoughts when that hit and you're on that train and it's got that like beautiful lead in with the smash cuts of the train and then boom, you're right in it and you hop off and you're in that first fight.
The FMV is super good. It starts
So
like in
good.
space and stuff like that.
That's
It's
beautiful.
just, I get goosebumps thinking about it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
so nerdy.
It's super good. And you get in that immediate fight and you're sort of bang. There's
When-
no
when-
tutorial.
When when Cloud goes flipping, his
Yeah,
little
just the
polygon
flip.
body goes flipping off, and he lands, superhero lands, and he fucking pulls that sword out,
Yeah,
dude. Like,
Does he pull a little sword out? Does he
I think he has his Buster Sword in that scene. He doesn't.
No.
Oh, the guy's just running him.
I can easily sort of
Oh
superimpose
no, Barrett
that.
goes, "Yo, new guy, keep up," I think, or
Yeah.
something, and
Yeah.
then, yeah.
There it is.
I mean, yeah, that's it.
Um,
What are your thoughts when that scene hits? Where are you at mentally?
I mean, I think I was still pretty confused when that happened. I mean, obviously that was so epic, but I was just like, I don't even know who my character is yet. Like,
Oh yeah.
I know the guy's on he's on the cover of the game, but like, I have no idea what that means. Like, and like I said, this whole genre was so new to me that like I had no idea what to expect. Like, it was never like, oh well, obviously this is the main character. Like, I didn't even read the back of the game discs. I was like, I have to play this, and I just put it in.
Yeah.
Is this your first RPG? Was this your
Yeah.
first RPG?
Yep.
It was mine too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, what
think-
RPGs were out there? Like Chrono Trigger?
Well, I mean, you had the whole
did
SNES.
Did you play Super Mario RPG? I remember you playing that. On,
Yes.
What a
Elliot, yeah.
great
I
game.
did.
That's Steven
Great game,
World.
yeah.
But did you play it before?
I played it after.
Yeah, I thought it was
Yeah.
after.
I played Final Fantasy III throughout and completed it before playing 7. So I
Wow.
got
You mean like
FF3 for NES,
FF6
SNES.
for canon?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Wow, you did 6 before. Okay, so that's totally
Wow.
unique.
So you're actually the most seasoned RPG player out of
I
all of
knew
us going into this.
I knew the mechanics of it because I used to play it in my buddy's basement. And that was like one of the first RPGs that we like tag teamed together. Like we wouldn't play without one another.
Wow.
But like I never understood like the storyline. But like I would say FF7 was my first storyline game that still took me about 10 playthroughs and I still didn't get it.
Yeah, I'm still confused about parts of
I
it.
think to this point, I had the blessing and the curse of having very young parents. So my dad was with me. We lived together for a bit. He played Final Fantasy for Nintendo, and I remember turn-based battles in that game. I can't confirm it was Final Fantasy because I was probably about 4 or 5, but I remember sitting in bed with him trying to help pick attacks and
It was
stuff.
like Dragon Quest, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. He was just it could have been it was a Nintendo based, but like there aren't many Nintendo turn based RPGs that are out there. So I assume it was FF1 or 2. But yeah, so I had encountered, but you know, FF7 was definitely my first like real all in on an RPG before that, or at that time. But that opening scene hit, man, and I was like, I think that was the first maybe Star Wars when I was younger, but like I leaned the fuck in and I was just like sucked into the game immediately, and I was like, I'm this person right now and I'm ready to go.
I thinking like I was not super grabbed to begin with. I struggled with it a little bit. I had such high expectations, and then when you finally get the thing, I had been like I'm like guilty of this. I get such high expectations about a thing, and then like it sort of isn't an 11 out of 10, where it's like not exactly what you imagine, and like so you kind of have to adjust yourself. So I think I struggled a little bit, and I struggled all the way up to the wall market, and I really struggled there because like
Struggled to stay invested.
I don't want to say invested because I was like playing the game, like it wasn't like I had other things to do, but I wasn't like, oh my god, I wasn't oh my godding my way through it, if you know what I mean. But I remember getting into the wall market and like really like not knowing what to do there, being like, how do I like get a dress? Like you have to like figure this out. Like what? And this is reminded me. I like made a pact with myself not to use that guide my mom gave me. But at that point I was like, I have to use a guide. I cannot like get
Prima's
past
official guide you discarded.
Well, I didn't want to like ruin. Like
Wow.
I know I said before like spoilers weren't a thing, but I think I like I had to like hold back from looking at it.
Yeah.
I was
But-
not a strategy guide person. Elliot was, but I wasn't.
I wasn't really, but yeah, go ahead.
It wasn't until I finished the game that I went back and did the strategy guide to catch all the stuff that I
Yeah.
missed. I didn't want to spoil anything for myself. I don't think I was kind of the same way. I struggled. I didn't struggle a bit. Like I was I was invested. Wall market for sure. The first time through is like I don't know how to advance the game.
Yeah.
But I think once I got into like Chamber Tower, I was like, okay, I'm kind of invested
Now
now.
the rope for me, the climbing the rope for some reason, like the music comes in. So right, you like
It's one of the most transformative experiences.
there's a
in my life.
part where you climb a rope.
And it plays the Junon marching music. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is when you're coming back to Midgar, right?
You climb the rope before.
Yeah,
you
no, on
leap?
the
That's
way up.
That's disc 2.
Am I wrong here?
Oh no, you do climb the plate up.
It's
you
not.
climb
It's
up
not
the
a.
plate.
It's not like a rope.
It's like a
but
wire.
Yes, like
it's a wire. Yeah, you do all the wires with Aris. Yeah, you climb with Aris like you're trying to escape the Turks.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, the part that you're talking about is when you're leaving the wall market. You got all the batteries.
Yes,
and
that's
you're working
exactly what
your way
happened.
up.
That's exactly. It was leaving Wall Market and getting up that and doing that and having that conversation. I was like, okay, I was like, it clicked for me. That music, going up the thing, and doing all the hops and like nailing the hops and stuff like that, and like you had to do like on the propeller and stuff like that. You had to do the right timing and having all the batteries.
platforming, but not platforming at all.
For some reason, that was like, okay, we're locked. We're going for it, baby. We're making this happen.
That was getting up to the Shinra building. Yeah, that was.
See, I never had to try. I think I had Chris as my own cheat code. So like I already had a hype man in the room telling me to play it. So at that age, I was just like, wow, he says it's dope. Let's keep going.
Breathing behind your back.
But then like,
what you wanna do?
or at least like back in that day, like FF7 was the first game that truly made me a morning person, because between the two of them not ever relenting at night, my strategy was wake up early.
Gotta beat him to the punch.
Yeah, that was, well, speaking of the punch, that was the whole infamous punch where they were both sleeping.
The infamous punch.
I've never heard of the infamous punch.
You had to have.
Well,
I don't think they have.
test me, baby.
I mean, you were there, but you could say it. But yeah, essentially, cold sleeping. Chris wakes up and just punches Elliot square in the mouth for no reason.
There's a home invasion conversation that's related to this.
Well, you have your own issues that have related to said punch, but yeah, those are the days I could.
Don't sneak up on a person when he's sleeping.
I could get to it, but it was the strategy.
He sleeping when you?
I was sleeping, and I was the one snuck up upon.
And you punched him.
And I leapt out of bed.
Oh, good. I thought he.
Good.
Punched
Oh,
him.
good.
Well, no, I thought you
good.
punched him while he was sleeping in his mouth.
That's the way that
you
sounded
did.
like.
Back at
I punched him
back at my Aunt Loretta's house.
when he was sleeping.
Yes, way back in the day. The punch
I
that
don't
you're
remember
thinking
that.
about is when I woke you up for Newsday and then you cold cocked me. That
I
was
have a
another.
lot of punches on record that I don't
Yeah,
necessarily
but
remember.
you gotta work on that.
And
Yeah.
back to FF7, it was the strategy, because if you sat there and did nothing, they would still attack you. So to me, that was such an eye-opening, like every move I make matters. So I think that's what really hooked me.
Keeps me safe. All right, so you're climbing up. So we're not going to do the story beats, but like the jail also is a big moment too, with the blood, which shows like, whoa, game's real.
There are numerous moments in FF7
And the
where
music hits.
it just goes horror.
Yeah.
And I think that's your first horror moment
Yeah.
where you're like, this game is spooky.
Yeah.
I need to turn the light on.
Something weird is going on here, and this is not what I signed up for. Like,
Yeah.
But they also they kind of did it at first because you get the first peek at Jenova before you get captured.
And that one is a creepy
And
moment.
that's
too.
super creepy. And I remember just being like, what the fuck was that about?
Yeah.
And then it just like goes away 2 seconds later. It's like, are we gonna talk about
like,
that?
did I see
She's
a
headless.
boob?
She's headless in that tank, right? And you're like, what am I looking
like,
at?
did I
At
see a
12 years
boob?
old.
Yeah.
Did you see a boob?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
You see boob?
Yeah.
You see boob?
It's a boob with an
Boob
eyeball.
with an
on it.
eyeball.
Oh shit! Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're
And-
12.
And like they don't bother explaining it. They're just like, oh, that's Jenova.
And it's a whole new
What?
graphical style
What?
and stuff like that. Yeah. I'll let you know.
Yeah, the sequence with the blood where you're following the blood trail and you come upon the dead President Shinra. I think that was the second, because the game to that point has it is heavy at times, but it's more levity than
For
gravity.
sure. For sure.
The President Shinra dead with the Masamune in his back is like the first what the fuck real moment
Yeah.
where you're like, I'm 12, guys.
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
I was like hands off the controller, like I didn't do anything here. And I think that for me was like the first at the amount of genres you're encountering and the amount of emotions you're going through. You're like, I just got cross-dressed and hit on by a blonde mafia man downstairs with little honeybee people running around. And now there's a dead president here who I thought was the big bad for a while because
Yeah.
they don't really tee up who the big bad is at that point. And you're like, President Shinra's the bad guy.
Another point of friction, and this sort of goes to the next question I want to ask, is the flashback with Cloud and Tifa. when they're little kids. Remember, like when they first is that so? And correct me if I'm wrong, but like that first flashback happens when you're outside of town, or does it happen when you're still in Midgar?
You're in Nibelheim. Nibelheim?
Okay, then I'm misspeaking.
First visit to Nibelheim.
Then I'm
And Tifa goes, "Do you remember?"
Yeah,
And she
yeah,
has
yeah.
her little polygon twirl,
Yeah,
like
with the
being
turquoise dress
cutesy.
thing.
You're
Yeah.
the one you're talking about was like when she's accusing him
The
of
water
if he
cooler.
forgot, right? That's in the bar after the
Seventh Heaven after,
So that's
yeah.
at Seventh Heaven. The one that you're talking about when they're
The kids.
The
Yeah.
promise. That's the promise.
Yeah, they're on the
When do they-
water tower.
Jeez,
Yeah.
when do they first zoom back to that? That
Is that calm?
No, calm.
Is that calm after they leave Midgar? And then, because that's where you recap Sephiroth for the first time and the Nibelheim incident.
And
They
that's where they grew up, was Nibelheim. That's where that's why they're there. It's in that center tower in the middle of town.
Yeah, well, the reason I brought that up because I was like, what am I watching here? I was like, why is Cloud like a little boy? Like, I don't want. I was like, this is a little friction with me. But it was supposed to be a lead-in question about Barrett, Tifa. These are your two sort of buddies throughout, and obviously Ares. Like, can I say Ares? Can I say Aerith? Like, what am I saying?
Whatever
She's
you wanna do.
Aries to me at all
Aries?
times.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we've been Americanified.
Always my Aries.
You're also with Ares, but like out of those three, anything jump to the top of your mind?
What is the question?
Like, did you like being with Tifa, Barrett, or Ares more at this point?
As
As like a
building
partner?
friendship
No,
or
like
in
a
combat?
battle partner.
Oh, battle partner. Oh, the starting two, I think for me was always Barrett Ares. And that was just like I was still learning the systems at that point. So you get Barrett first and he just like is a default. And then I was realizing that Tifa was more damage and Ares was more magic-y vibe.
You'd be like
And so-
soft.
And
bad.
Saw. Yeah, and like I didn't
not
really
her,
know the
like,
Holy Trinity.
They
at
didn't
that point.
have like that hard coded in though. It was like if you put all the material on Tifa, she'd be just fine.
Yeah, but they had stats, and like they
Yeah.
tended to be more like a cure number out of Ares, and like her healing when Limit Break is a game changer at that phase. So I think it was just it was a power dynamic that made me go with that. I don't know, Steven, what you went with.
Full aggro. So I did Tifa and Barrett. But
Hell yeah.
also that was like, puberty raging. So it was like, yeah, Tifa is way hotter in her polygons.
It's driven by hormones.
than Ares.
Where did it happen, Pat?
it happened in Seventh Heaven when she asked if he remembers.
That's
the
what I
promise.
thought.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. It
So
happened in
that's-
Seventh
So
Heaven.
everyone's right.
Yeah.
We pieced together.
It
the
did happen
story.
sooner because the reason I brought it up a minute ago is because like at that point I was like, "Ugh, we just got off this cool bombing mission. Now I'm in like a water cooler as a little boy, like talking to like a 12-year-old girl.
Yeah.
I was like, come on guys, like come on guys. Luckily it wasn't too long.
Yeah, no, it was pretty quick. And they want, I guess that's their way of showing you like these two clearly have history, because one of the options is to completely ignore, like, do you remember the promise? And you have the option to be like, no,
Yeah.
the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
Which, yeah, and
I
that's-
didn't love Tifa. I didn't love her. Compared to Ares and Barrett, like that was my crew.
Yeah,
in
Ares and
Midgar.
Barrett were mine too. I didn't like Tifa's limit breaks. I mean, it turns out, now 20 years later that she's the best and strongest character in the entire game.
Yeah, she's also probably the
But
nice like
Tifa is?
her
Yeah, by far.
she
and away.
really?
Mhm.
That's mind blowing to me. We'll get to this.
Yeah.
But there's a whole like, who would you apologize for benching?
Yeah, it should be Tifa, 100%.
Yeah,
She is by far and away the strongest character in the game. It's not even close.
even against Catastrophe and
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about how much damage you can do in one turn, then those multiple hit limit breaks are correct.
yeah.
If you're talking about for like a speed run thing, like there are guys that beat the game at level 30 because of how much damage she can do.
Is it based off her limit break?
No, it's based off of a couple of things. She has. I'm trying to remember what the name of the weapon is that she uses. It's one of her gloves, but it increases her power based off of how many detrimental effects that she has on her. So if she's in like critical health, and then if she has like status conditions, these do these insane multipliers for the amount of damage she can do.
Yeah.
And then you give her like death blow, and it's
She put him down.
It's absurd.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't
And-
love her. I didn't love her character. I didn't love her
Power
power.
Soul, I believe it's called. I want to
Power Soul.
maybe double check that, but I
Yeah.
believe it's called the Power Soul.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that for me, I think I wasn't good at I wasn't good at the character management on my first playthrough. I didn't really understand. I understood materia, but like I think the first time, my second playthrough was where I was like, I get the hard edge in the Shinra building. I have to steal off of this guy. You know, like my first playthrough, I was
off a soldier
bum-
first class. I have to
bumbling
steal
through-
off that guy.
Yeah, and I think like I meandered into the Ultima weapon because you just kind of have to for
Yeah.
Cloud, but the rest was like just whatever they had. I was
Yeah.
going into it.
Yeah. But I like the Ares versus Tifa sort of conversation. I liked Ares more because she was more like friendly, flower girly.
Oh, you went like based on
yeah,
character.
I liked her more. Yeah, for some reason. Yeah,
You liked her more than Tifa.
I did.
Let's unpack that.
I don't know what. Like, let's unpack it. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like,
What about Tifa turned you away?
the water cooler, like the water tower scene. I was like, I don't
Oh,
want more of
yes.
these.
Oh.
Still, wow.
I don't want.
want more of these. Reminiscing about our past.
Meanwhile, I feel like Eris is the softer, like I don't want to.
Yeah.
I will not dare to say whinier, but like Tifa was more the baddie.
She was 100% she had her shit together, and
Ares
she's
was constantly teasing you and stuff like that. Yeah.
and
Ares
Ares
was-
just came off like a kid to me. And Tifa
no,
came off like a
opposite.
woman.
She came off like she came off motherly, and that's what like I remember it being a big deal that Ares was a year older than Cloud, and like Cloud's mom and Nibelheim was like, you should got a girl who's a year older than you.
Oh,
Yeah.
Remember?
An older woman will take care of you.
Yeah.
Here's a one that the players debate still to this day. Who's the canon love interest for Cloud?
I think it's pretty clearly it's clear that Tifa loves Cloud.
No, yeah, I'm saying like okay, so is it Gold Saucer
they're-
date. Who is the canon date in Gold Saucer?
Ares.
So I know the hard code. Yeah, the hard code. Like starts with higher advantage. I think the developers meant for her to be that.
Yeah, that's not that. None of this is set in stone. It is still up for debate to this day on who
Okay.
it is. And split decision. I think it's Tifa.
You think like
No.
the whole
it's
end
Tifa?
game was always
No.
Tifa?
I think they did consummate. They did consummate the North Crater.
They
Like,
absolutely did,
yeah,
and it was like their full
yeah.
circle moment. I think Ares serves.
Side girl.
I think Ares serves as the thing that propels them together. But she is not the canon love interest, in my opinion. In my opinion.
The one that got away. 'cause
I
she
mean,
was
yeah,
stabbed to death.
your opinion's wrong, but yeah, no, it is. It's 100% Aries, and like they don't try to hide it at all.
He's like, the thing about you is that you're wrong and your opinion's dumb. Why don't they hide it at all?
Nobody saw it.
What was
Breaking the studio here with
It was
our
the
opinions.
the book
The
this
book.
was on.
that? Oh.
The
What?
book that was meant to reinforce.
Well, while Pat
Well, now I get the
enforces.
road to talk about why Tifa is the
go ahead.
canon love interest and why
Yeah,
it is
just do that.
demonstrable.
that's not gonna work. So well for you.
Ares,
It'll work.
Why don't you reverse it?
Pat, because this is audio.
You look like you're talking into your dick.
Pat looks like
I'm just excited to be here.
Pat looks like Axl Rose after he's taken off though, and he just rips the stand down and is holding it and he's going
Alright.
heavy.
Why is Tifa
Um,
bald love interest for you?
No, I just think like you follow their love story from start to finish. If you think about it, the first encounter from Seventh Heaven, and I'm breaking out my I'm in front of the board voice.
Yeah.
The first encounter that you have with Tifa in the game, you're already talking about their relationship and how deep it goes. And that only flourishes more the more the game progresses. And it crescendos at North Crater.
Yeah.
Before you go to your inevitable deaths, even though it's not, but it seems that way. And that's, I mean, what could be a more complete love story?
The thing is, like, it doesn't seem like Cloud chose that though. It seems like it was like a convenient
Fallback.
It was a convenience
Well,
matter.
you know, my main girl did get impaled.
That was kind of the vibe I got. It was like, yeah.
I think Ares serves as the purity in a very otherwise bleak cast and scenario and thing that binds them together and helps them find their humanity. But she ain't it. She ain't it. And I know Pat loved her. I know Pat was in love with her, and he can't defend himself right now because he's fixing his setup feverishly. and I'm just going to eviscerate Aerith.
I did like her more than Tifa, for sure. Oh, we already covered that. All right.
Yeah,
So
anyway.
anything else before you want to hit anything on Midgar or the Tifa Ares debate, Steve? What was your? You told us who you preferred.
But I constantly find myself going between them, so it's very difficult.
Yeah.
Steven likes some.
It's two
both.
beat. It's
Still
two
Tifa though.
two animals inside. I
Tifa?
think.
Yeah.
Still
Team
100%.
Tifa?
Oh
Fuck
yeah.
dude, I knew I
Yeah.
was related to you. Okay.
So hot.
So we get out.
Who'd you have a crush on? Go.
Crush on Eris, but go for Tifa. I feel like that's kind of what Cloud was all about. He liked them both.
Yeah.
Yeah, spoiled choice.
We also
one was a god.
We
but-
didn't talk
yeah.
about the most important character that we meet in Shinra headquarters.
Red 13.
Our boy.
Red 13.
Rufus.
Also our boy.
Yeah.
Oh God, Roof. Oh boy, man.
Well, also the Turks.
The closest. What?
Coolest sound.
Grimace.
Grimace. The big purple man.
The closest I could have had to a crush on a character at that point was Rufus, for sure.
The white suit.
God, what a Chad. 2 dogs and a shotgun? Oh, what a Chad.
It was a whole vibe he had. Yeah. And he just sort of, I remember being like, wow, he's just taking over the company. Like, he's just sort of going for it.
Yeah.
And we just
And
sort
he
of,
was so calm, cool, and collected in every scenario. I still summon a little Rufus in me to this day when shit hits the fan at work and I have to play it cool.
let's talk Rufus.
I do the
first.
hair flip.
Let's talk Shinra for a second. So Shinra is a giant mega corporation.
Yeah.
Also, it's the government.
Oh.
A government does exist.
They didn't start that way. They started as the electric company
For
and
sure.
then
Yeah.
turned to Shinra Corporation.
But the government does still exist. Like, the mayor is still in the Shinra building, like, filing paperwork.
Yeah, they just cast him aside
They
to
just cast him
do
aside.
to do whatever they felt like. He's just a figurehead. Yeah.
We need to return to why Chris was 100% wrong. And why whose purse would you carry?
I mean, both of them. That's fine.
Thank you.
Yeah,
no
yes,
big deal.
yes.
Why is he wrong?
Oh no, just I mean, I think it's very clear that that's the direction that the game wanted you to go into. And it's not like Cloud saying no. Like it's very like, I don't know, Japanese anime to be like, oh my god, she has a crush on me. Gross. Like that's just how. And he's like that with both of
Can
them.
you name 10 animes that do that?
Yeah, everyone.
Okay. I rescind.
Sold.
He's right.
Yeah, it's like it's the normal trope where it's like, I can't believe she has a crush on me. I don't know how to feel about this. Yeah, she likes me. But yeah, I think it's 100% Aries. I think that you can kind of tell that the direction was to try and split you, because it's like, oh wait a minute, both of these girls have a crush on me. Which one do I like more? But I think the game very clearly leads.
I think Final Fantasy VII as a fairy tale, Ares is the clear, like, love interest. But Final
Life's
Fantasy
not a
VII,
fairy tale, you know?
Final Fantasy VII as like a real, I don't want to say a realistic, but like as
Gritty.
it's pretty
I
realistic.
was like gritty.
It's realistic. Yeah, we've
Well,
all been
No,
there.
I mean like the myth. If it was like a mythological story with like clear tropes and stuff like that, like Cloud would be falling in love with the princess.
Yeah.
Do you think
like
Ares is the princess?
I
Who
think
like
she's supposed to
sacrificed
be,
herself and
You
like
think
she's the
supposed to be
chosen
the
one of the
princess?
planet.
She's a flower girl. Oh,
Yeah.
I guess the ancient. Yeah, okay.
She's the last of her people. Bro.
Okay,
She's the
okay.
last of her people.
Okay.
Red 13 though.
Yeah, let's
Who
get to
we-
our boy.
Let's bring it to
We
the
all
real
thought it was
heart.
Red 8
I
for a long time.
actually renamed him in later games because I refused to call him Red 13 because of how wrong I
So
was.
Steven, we mixed up the Roman numerals. We were like,
Yeah,
we
I
were
caught that.
12, Steven.
Yeah, I
That's
caught
right.
that.
Stop judging us.
No, I thought I caught a harsh take towards Red 13, which I would never tolerate because he was the
No,
best.
he's the fucking man.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, man. I'm going to get eviscerated again. I did not like Red 13 at all when
Oh,
I
I thought he
first
was
played with
awesome.
But like why?
Hated him.
But like why?
I play Feral Druid because it looks like Red 13 and
His
has the
music
same
was
model.
baller.
Yeah,
he
he's
was
awesome.
Okay,
like
all right,
this
all right,
wolf
okay.
dog.
Let's just talk
Okay,
about this.
okay,
Let's shout it.
okay.
Let's shout him down.
Bring it back.
How dare you?
All right.
This
I'm
is-
happy to be
Cut
the
his
punching
mic.
bag for
Cut
this
his mic.
podcast. I'm glad I'm in town for
Just
this so I can see it in
Rename
real
the
life.
episode
Look me
to
in the
Final
eye.
Fantasy VII and Musto's
Look you
wrong
right
opinions.
in your ear hole. All right. So, okay. Red 13, you're playing a game with bipedal humans that entire way. I am a 12-year-old boy living the hero's journey to this point in a cyberpunk fantasy
And your
where
fire
I'm
dog talks
slapping
to
the
you?
shit. And this fucking fire dog talks, and like, don't get me wrong, he's very cool thematically. I'm like, this is a very cool dog. I think for me, he kind of broke my brain and my headcanon of where this was going in like a cyberpunky way. And so I immediately was like, I was not turned off to him. I wasn't like, ew, fuck this character. I think two things added up. One, he's a very mature character.
Yeah.
I'm a very immature boy.
Mm.
The Barretts, asterisking their way through conversations, Tifa being hot, Ares being hot,
Yeah.
and Cloud being badass. To this point, it's edgelords or, Barrett. Red 13 is a very mature character. He talks a little down to you the whole time, and he's very heady. He's very erudite, and he says a lot of big words, and he comes off very polished. To this point, I'm disinterested. I'm like, give me my heroes. I'm going to slap some shit. And then in combat, he's also, in my opinion, one of the more intricately designed characters. His limit breaks don't always do damage. Howling Moon is like a limit break where I'm like, I have no idea. I can't read what it's doing for me, and I didn't read into it. So I was like, this limit break does fucking nothing.
What did it do?
I think it
if
berserked
you-
your characters
yeah, if
or
you-
hasted them.
if you hit select,
No,
during
Pat, I'm
combat,
12, dude.
It would tell you all those things.
I was. Thank you, Pat. Yes, I will go
Yeah.
back in time, and I'll
Yeah.
say, hey, bud, did you know if you hit select, my 40-year-old friend told me.
Yeah,
Okay. You can dislike Red 13.
I
and be
don't-
wrong,
I clearly
but, like,
can't.
I don't think it tells you straight up what it does, but I think what the tooltip says is that it temporarily raises your party's abilities in battle.
Got
It's like that's all it says.
Well, I just want to, because we're looking at a 5.5-hour podcast.
oh,
here,
for
so,
sure, yeah.
So Red 13 is a dog you're introduced to who's about to copulate with Ares.
Yeah, I
Chris-
think that was the
Hojo was
plan.
like, I'm gonna put this dog in this room. You remember this?
Hojo
No.
continued to make experiments, so Red 13 was just another one of his experiments.
But that's different from copulate.
Yeah, no,
He
that
put
was
them
the
in
intent.
a room.
Yeah.
He's like,
Oh yes,
you will,
I do remember that. Yes, the ancient. Yes, he wanted this mystical dog race from Cosmo Canyon to
to
yes,
reproduce
and see if
with
this would
Ares.
create a magical being race or another ancient
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah,
so-
he says something along the lines of, "It's the research that I'm doing is not going to finish in my lifetime, let alone hers. So we might as well try
what the
and
fuck
make
was
another
this
one."
game?
It's a strange one.
Yeah.
Our parents let us. Play
I don't
this.
think I caught that the first time through.
I remember being confused. I remember being like, wait, what?
Lunatic High gave your entire party haste,
Yeah.
but I couldn't process what haste was
pretty
at the
good.
time.
All right, so this brings us to the biggest moment of all of our lives when you get out of Midgar,
Yeah, first
and you.
Well, first we play one of 80
mean,
million
did
mini
you beat me
games.
to it?
I was first.
You did it. Yeah.
First to
first?
first to world map. Yep.
World first.
Like,
Well, local world first.
I think I was like 8th to finish the game, but I was first to world map.
Wow, damn. Quick segue. There is one of 80 million mini games in the motorcycle mini game before you get
Yeah,
to the
really
last
music.
boss fight and then the mind blowing experience.
That was such a fucking sick FMV.
That whole sequence where you're on the motorcycle ripping through shit. You
Yeah.
remember that, Steven?
Like
I
going
do.
downstairs.
I
yeah,
do.
that was so cool.
What was your blood pressure like during that sequence?
Pretty high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you feeling it?
I was.
Yeah.
I don't think I gave going back to Gold Saucer. I don't think I gave that replay enough merit. I think I always went snowboarding, which was I don't know why.
Yeah. Marry, copulate, kill. That cutscene, Tifa Ares.
Marry, copulate, kill.
We stopped playing copulate.
You said it. I'm just celebrating it.
Well,
I'm gonna kill the game. and
You're going to kill the
scene.
cutscene?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
The motorcycle cutscene?
Yeah.
I kill Ares because she dies anyway.
The cutscene's badass.
Spoiler alert.
Anywho, sorry.
So we get out of there. What was everyone's first reaction? Being like, well, I mean, you already had 6, so you sort of knew world maps as an idea.
I also had watched Chris
You also watched
play.
that. When I walked out of there, I was like, wait, what? Like, what? Like, there's more of this?
See,
Like-
my whole MO getting out of there was I always felt because I just continued the story, I never leveled enough. So getting to the world map was like, all right, now I'm gonna just grind. And I think at that point I grinded too much, and then the game became way too easy.
I did a lot of grinding too, but it scales a little bit. Like Sephiroth does scale with you.
He does, depending on how many characters you have at certain level caps. Yeah.
It's not like FF8 where the game gets infinitely harder the more you level.
Yeah, that was a terrible idea.
Yep.
So you get out of there, you go into Calm, you have a long flashback, but like I'm just gonna sort of zip through the sort of wider world. So you like all these points. Like let's talk about these locations. Calm, not really notable. Only notable for the flashback.
Yeah, just the
Calm,
flashback.
I
You can
think
buy a new weapon.
and the music slaps in Calm as like the first, because you're coming off of peak high blood pressure, all gas no brake scenes, and you're just in Calm, and it's like do 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 do, and it's just like a nice
That is
reset.
good. Yeah.
Calm is the first city you come to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the blue carpeted town.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then you're going to the Chocobo farm. Go ahead, Pat.
Yeah, no, you're good. I'm just curious if are we gonna skip through the cutscene, the whole flashback? I feel like
Nibelheim?
that's a pretty massive part of the story to skip.
And Pat does have a PhD in this scene.
Sum it up.
He explained it to me
Sum it
because
up.
I did not know how this all worked out. But Pat, you did explain to me how the actual fire in Nibelheim shook out.
Let's do it.
Man. So yeah, this is how you go, because they kind of before this part of the game, they throw out Sephiroth's name and they say it like as if you're supposed to know who that is. And it's like, oh, that's Sephiroth's sword. Only Sephiroth can use that sword. It's like, who the fuck?
That's from the
is
Midgar
Sephiroth?
Sormer, right? Or the
From-
Big Snake, right?
No. I'm talking about going back to Midgar, where you find the president dead,
Oh yes,
and
yes,
they
yes,
just
yes.
drop
An
Sephiroth's
Assamese.
name like you're just supposed to know who he is.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, that's Sephiroth's sword. Only he can use that sword. Like, who the fuck is Sephiroth? We don't know anything about this fucking guy. So to go through this cutscene now, like you learn who he is. Like they were old war buddies. He's a Shinra, a soldier war hero. Then they go through the whole like descent into madness, and where like he learns about the experiments done on him, and now he learns that his mother was Jenova, and now he knows that Jenova is being kept there. He sees all the experiments and stuff that they're doing, and then he kind of is like, well, you guys stole the planet from me. I'm going to take it back for me and Mother, and he destroys and burns down all of Nibelheim. And for a very long time, because like that, and that's like just noted.
And then he
as-
disappears.
Yeah. He just walks off and he's gone. I'm sorry. Towards the end, when you're talking about no, never mind. I'll go back to that later.
But now there's this whole burnt down town, and this is what confused me.
Well,
Because-
to go back to where Jesse was, is like Cloud goes and follows him down into the reactor, and they have that standback. Like, how could you do this to me? Like, these are like you burned my whole town down, my life, my family.
And
blah,
this is the
blah.
famous Tifa scene too,
And-
where she takes up her dad's sword. Or
Yes,
got
he
that
watches that go through. Like, she picks up the sword and like tries to charge
Yeah.
at Sephiroth and gets
and
taken down.
she takes him. And he takes
Right.
him.
Because Sephiroth murdered Tifa's father.
Correct.
So
Right.
she runs
And
into
she goes,
the
"I'm
chamber.
sick of all of it, Shinra."
Yeah, right,
Mako,
right.
So
Mako."
that's the second time you see that, because you see that at first during the bombing mission, and you're like, "What the hell was that weird
Correct.
flashback?"
Yeah.
So this is now you're actually watching to see more context of what that actually was. So Sephiroth killed her dad. She picks up his sword, which strange that he just left it there, but whatever. Picks up the sword, tries to run at him. He slices her down. Cloud sees this. He's like, "You've burned down my whole town. You've killed people I love." Blah blah blah. And then they just do this weird white kind of epilepsy warning flashback thing, and they're like, "Well, what the hell happened to Sephiroth?"
And
And he's like,
he says, I don't remember.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I'm still here. It's like, yeah, what the fuck? What do you
Yeah.
mean? What happened here?
Which introduces the unreliable narrator
Yeah.
of being like, this guy doesn't know anything.
When I say that this was too deep for me at 12, I
Oh,
made
yeah.
it so hardcore. It took me 10 years to unpack the storytelling, which I don't know if that's good or bad for the storytelling. But we even as recent as Elliot's bachelor party, which was what, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, we
Yeah,
were
something like
unpacking
that.
this still, and
Yeah.
I was like learning new things at that. And I think so now there's this burnt down town. This was always my question, because you do encounter Nibelheim.
Mhm.
There's this burnt down town. and everyone's acting like nothing happened when you
Yeah,
get there.
that-
and I was like, what the fuck?
That was
That's
very
big bad
confusing.
Shinra for
yeah,
you.
that was very confusing for me because
Just the
like,
horror elements too.
like you
This
said-
sort of like it's
yeah.
like what's
And
going on?
What's
here?
happening?
And like
It's
you s-
unsettling.
Like you said, they at this point had brought in the unreliable narrator. So now it's like, well, I don't know what to believe because he clearly this dude's mind is it's fucked up
And
or
like
he's
Tifa's not
misremembering
helpful.
shit.
It's
Yeah,
like, hey,
No.
I remember like because Tifa was not normally my party, so I brought her into the party. I was like, I tried to talk to her a lot, and she just like wasn't giving anything
Yeah.
very insightful.
Yeah.
It's
Very
Well,
weird.
Shinra's the one that sent Sephiroth with Zack to Nibelheim to explore what was happening.
Right.
And then once Sephiroth defected, burned it down, they were like, fuck, we can't have this.
yeah.
And then they rebuilt the town and staffed it so
Staffed
people would
it
be like,
with actors.
yeah,
Yep.
what do you mean?
Fucking
I don't know.
Pat was the one who told me about
Yeah.
that, and that blew my mind. I was like, I never processed that. I thought it was bad writing at the time.
That critical flashback scene
I
where
was
you're
like, how do these people
watching
not know?
Sephiroth in the basement, like that is
Yeah,
only
it's good.
until then do you get, if you're paying attention, everything you need to know.
You retain this at 9?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't.
No, not
Do you
at
know
all.
how long it confused me? I'm like, so Cloud is
You know how long I've
Soldier.
lived with this?
So Cloud is Soldier. Wait, no, he's not Soldier. He never made it to Soldier. So who's Soldier? Who's Zack? And
Well,
then
let me-
like it
Let me
took.
ask you guys this: like, Sephiroth leaves after he burns it down. Where does he go for the next 5 years?
North Crater. Well, he goes to get Jenova.
Wait, are you talking about where like canon? Where does he actually go?
Yeah, like, where does he go?
He's
he
dead.
got thrown into
Oh
the
yes, he
life
was killed.
stream.
Yes,
Right.
in-
Because
in
he
the reactor.
grabs Genova's head.
Yeah, he grabs it from the reactor.
Cloud
in
impales
Nibelheim.
him, and he's
He's
like,
dead.
he's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
And then Cloud
Yeah, he
tosses
does,
him
yeah,
over.
he does- Okay, sorry, I like forgot that whole thing happened.
Yeah, and
Okay.
then you
Does Cloud actually impale him in that?
No,
scene?
he gets impaled by him. And then
Oh,
he lifts
yes,
him
and
up by the
throws him.
sword and he throws him.
Yeah,
There you go.
which
like the Emperor scene.
super
Star Wars.
super weird, and that's another one where I was like, is that real? Did he really do that? But that's apparently canon. That's what happened. We don't know where this surge of strength came from, but he throws him into the live stream, and it's in there where Sephiroth like kind of takes over and starts dominating Jenova. And so that's all of the people that have Jenova cells, all the reunion stuff that's being called and pulled back to Sephiroth's body. Is like, that's how powerful Sephiroth was.
Right.
He now uses Genova
Correct.
to
So-
do
so-
his own bidding.
So this was the other mind-blowing thing. The first encounters you have with Sephiroth, the
Not
first
him.
real,
Yeah.
it's Jenova
Yeah.
as Sephiroth.
Correct.
It's Sephiroth piloting Jenova, piloting as Sephiroth,
Yeah.
which is
It's
like,
very straightforward
like
stuff.
how do you expect a 12-year-old
Very
to
straightforward. Well, his
process this shit?
physical self is crystallized
And the next time you see him is
in the live stream.
That's
is poking
it's
out
bizarre.
of the ceiling.
So he's been
In
been
the, North
marinating.
Crater, yeah.
He's been
Mhm.
marinating in the live stream. So Bizarro Sephiroth, weird monster man, that's actual Sephiroth.
yeah, he
One-winged
like
angel.
he like pops out of the like he's in the
He's
like the ceiling.
encased in crystal
Yeah.
and comes down.
Yeah,
He comes
Yeah.
out like of the live stream.
But Bizarro Sephiroth, and then whatever the final Sephiroth version is, he has a name that was like a weird typo.
Safer.
Safer Sephiroth. Thank you. Yeah. Go ahead.
Good. Sorry.
Oh no, you have it. Yeah.
I was just gonna move us on.
Yeah, go.
because
Yeah, dude.
we're deep in category here. So we had Calm, we had the Chocobo Town,
Yeah,
Chocobo Farm,
you can
which was
hit
amazing. The
Fort
dance.
Condor there too, if you choose to.
Oh,
It's a
yeah.
bad time to go there, but you can hit Fort Condor on the way there.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know
And
that.
that mini game slaps. Top mini game of the entire game.
Yeah,
Fort Condor mini game.
At that point, you need money
Yeah.
to
Oh,
build an
yeah.
army, and if you go there that early in the game, you ain't winning
Yeah,
there.
you're
you got to
losing.
grind a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yo,
to get
and
there.
good luck fighting Ruby without Phoenix.
So,
Mm.
so this is an interesting thing. Well, Ruby's disc 3. That's so far down. But yes.
But you, but for
you need
Condor,
Phoenix
you
for
still
Fort
need
Condor.
Phoenix.
Yes, you're right. You're right. At that point, I had not played an RPG before. I was actually excited to grind. It was very thrilling to know that I could keep finding battles and getting more powerful and feeling like I could break the game in that way. And that went away very quickly in RPG life. But that was one of the games where I was like, oh fuck, I could just keep fucking fighting.
I got to Cosmo Canyon and I got stuck on the boss there. I don't know, like I couldn't beat the like when Red 13 goes to like engage with the ghost thing.
the GI.
Yeah, the
Undead
Gi.
the
ghost.
Gi, yeah.
Yeah,
The
so
Gi guy?
you just
I know
throw
it's very easy. I know.
just throw the elixir at him.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure.
Oh.
It-
Yeah.
Wait,
that's
I'm
real.
sorry. Say that again.
If you throw an elixir at him, it's instant kill. He
Or
just
you
dies.
heal him, he dies. He takes damage
Yeah.
too.
He's undead.
But
one
I spent,
elixir insta kills him.
so this is a core memory for me. I couldn't get there. I was like, well, I'm stuck in the game. I was like, so I'm just gonna grind. It's been a full day grinding. And this was the day my dad came home. He was like, you haven't moved in 8 hours. He's like, we need to make some changes here. And I think that's why you beat me to the end of the game.
Probably.
Because he's like, you don't get to play this all day. Like it was beautiful. It was like the end of summer. I'm sorry, it was the end of summer. Like school was just starting. We were 7th or 8th grade. Grades weren't hot. Spending a lot of time in the game. Like I would make the same call now.
How do you? Yeah, I was
as
gonna.
then.
How do you parent that? How do you parent that today?
Do the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
30
Run it
minutes.
back.
I do it now.
Wait, hold on. You have a 30-minute limit? You
Theo-
can't do shit in
Can't do
30
shit.
minutes.
Theo plays 30 minutes on the weekdays and an hour during the weekends if he behaves well.
Did we swing the pendulum too far?
He
What can
will
really
beat
be
a
done?
full Kirby game in those 30 minutes. He is the most efficient player.
Wow.
He will get to like this final bird thing and he will beat the thing with his like helper buddy.
If you're talking about games now, they're almost designed to just hop in and out. You
No,
can
he
play
he
6
plays
games in a
he only
half
plays
hour and call it
SNES.
a day.
We have the little mini
Yeah.
SNES.
I love that thing.
So he only plays like Kirby games. He plays some Mega Man X, but he struggles with a little
Great
bit. It's
game.
tough.
Great
And-
game.
You should get him a little
Super
retro
Mario
pie.
World.
I had a
do.
crush on
Oh,
Zero.
yeah,
I
the
didn't
pie.
know
Yeah,
Zero was not a girl, but
He's hot.
Yeah.
he's very hot.
So Cosmic Canyon is awesome. Me and Pat would do the theme song for that, walking to and from school. I would do the bass line, and you would do the solo. Portends what's come.
It's probably one of my top 3
It's a
music.
it's a jam.
Yeah.
That scene, the Seto crying scene,
Yeah.
Yeah.
was the one scene that warmed me up to Red 13. I just didn't have a place for him in my party at that time. He'd be my apology.
Let's
to my
talk party
bench.
now. So you have more people than options. You probably have 5 characters now.
Yeah, 5. Yeah, 5 clear ones.
I was running Cloud, Red 13, and Ares.
Wow, snubbing Barrett.
I think at that point I had Barrett and Red 13. I didn't understand really magic and stuff like that, and I would give healing magic to Red 13 in the off chance I needed it.
He
But-
was my healer too
Yeah.
because he didn't have a range attack.
Yeah.
So like it would be times where he would be sort of useless. But neither did Cloud.
That's why you had Barrett.
Yeah, Barrett.
That's why you should have Barrett. But I would use like for range attacks, I would use Ares' magic. Like I would make her offensive, like casting
Yeah.
fire and stuff.
Yeah,
What was your party?
I didn't have strategy like that. That was good strategy at 12. I was like everyone gets every materia and like Ares gets. I was very balanced. I was like everyone gets one of every materia, and yes, I know that's like obviously slots don't add up, but I was like I would have a lightning, a fire, and an ice, and then everyone gets a heal guaranteed, and that would be the first thing I'd buy. And like when you're in Sector 7 slums, like I would always find like everyone gets a heal. I already know this is broken to have on people. But yeah, my party was always Ares. I would juggle out the third slot. It was me and Barrett the whole way. We're like canon
Wow.
buddy cop movie until Sid comes along.
I
We'll get to
never
that.
played with Barrett. I never
Yeah.
played with these.
I played with
only
I
with their
played with him
ultimate
a lot.
weapons.
And then Ares. Yeah, Ares was always my third, and I might swap in Tifa every so often. But yeah, it was just, and again, it was playstyle. Like at Red 13's Limit Breaks, I just couldn't figure. And
No.
Sledfang wasn't super bonkers at
Yeah,
that point.
it wasn't great.
Yeah, so
There-
I was just.
There is a period
and
after
healing wind's
Cosmo.
so good.
After Cosmo Canyon, you get, I think it's called the Seraph Comb,
Yeah.
as a reward, and for a
He's
good
slamming.
a
He's
good
hitting for
chunk of the
600.
game, he's
He's hitting for 600 at that
very
point.
very strong.
I remember it goes from like 300 to 600. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, we've been there.
Yeah, that with like Death Blow with that is you can one shot most things.
So you don't like Red 13. So like you don't like Native Americans. Is that
Which group was that in our thing? Was that 4 or 1?
I think that's safe to say. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't answer this.
no comment?
There's
All right.
no answers.
Where was your party there, Steven?
First playthrough, unapologetically Barrett and Sid with Cloud. But then in most playthroughs after, I always went with my heart, which wound up being Red 13 and Vincent.
Red 13 and Vincent. Yes. Okay.
Because if I
Vincent's-
had to apologize to anyone, it's always Vincent. Because everyone's doing 99.99 and he's struggling to get to like 7,700.
It was tough
Yeah.
being. It's tough.
So-
I was also a Vincent player.
I was a big Vincent fan too. My party became Sid Vincent Cloud.
Same. Yeah.
That was what I think
Yeah.
that's a natural evolution for players.
Every
right?
boy.
Every boy goes Sid.
There's a
'cause
Vincent. There's a Sid.
dude, when you meet
she's either a Sid or he's a Vincent.
when you meet Sid for the first time, which by the way, very questionable
Just
human.
beating his wife.
He's a piece of shit. And but I was so enamored with this guy. And I think my favorite thing about
smoked.
he smoked. He was like, look at the stars. I wanted to be a pilot, but fucking Sheila came along and ruined everything.
Yeah.
And she's just doting upon him. Real piece of shit scumbag. But I think him being the elderly curmudgeon
He's
at
like
32
Yeah, 32. Yeah.
in canon.
Yeah.
Hurt people, you know what I mean?
He was hurt.
But man, did he have pizzazz?
did.
He had fucking pizzazz.
The
that
tiny
one.
Bronco. He was smoking. He was cursing.
Just
Get
the
up.
way he ran.
Making some fucking tea.
I
Yeah,
think
he's
I
like,
think I
"Oh,
went
shit."
back. I went.
Like-
Yeah, his waddle run.
Yeah.
He
is like-
always had to stick up his
is
ass.
icon- He became the de facto leader of the group too.
Yeah.
He is the canon leader after Cloud.
He
in
he
Medieval,
grows
right?
into it.
Yes.
Yeah, he didn't care about the whole thing. He was like, I just want to go to space.
Yep.
Yeah. He's like, I don't give a shit about your
It's
stuff.
like fuck Shinra.
Yeah,
Just if I can go to space with you, I'll go.
yeah. He has a great arc. But anyway, all that's to say, I'm still rocking Eris and Barrett at this point, and
Okay.
Barrett's pretty much my canon buddy.
Any like big memories pop up for you guys? Like we'll leave Coral aside because that's sort of a big thing. But Costa del Sol, Junon.
Junon, I think, is, in my opinion, the most iconic city in the entire game, even more so than Midgar, and I'll go out on a limb and say that. I think Midgar is an amazing city. I think it is if you break it down, it is a very stereotypical steampunky vibe city.
Mm.
Junon has the most unique aesthetic. A city built on a fucking cannon that is like
Massive.
It's just so fucking cool, man. Like when I got to Junon, I was like, this is the fucking dopest place. And like obviously it becomes a huge part of the game later too. And like the whole time I see that cannon, I'm like, I want to see them use that fucking cannon.
When you realize like that it was the Wutai Wars, like they used it
Yeah.
on Wutai.
Yeah.
By the way,
Jesus Christ.
can we talk about the inefficiency of that fucking cannon? It maybe can move 18 degrees
It
in
can
either
only go
direction,
up
and it's
and
a
down.
fucking city
They're
large.
just
Like this is
they're
the
like,
most
Wutai,
useless
don't
fucking cannon.
move.
I feel like this is just a contractual obligation in anime to have a giant cannon somewhere, and
Yeah.
they're like, we got to hit quota.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the march though? Do you know how many like times I
That
had to
march.
reset and like replay that fucking
audience
part
rating?
because I just
Oh.
would never get the march right?
Practice in the locker room.
Oh my
Dude,
god,
that
it was
fucking
brutal.
march.
It's so
Oh,
brutal.
the practice session too. That and the Sector 7 squat thrust to get the
Squat thrust.
whatever
Oh,
the,
yeah.
the
Oh, in the
perfume.
gym?
The perfume.
Oh, the gym never bothered me.
Both of those were they didn't bother me, but you had to get it. You had to
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah, the march is what's got me.
I had to save scum it sometimes. Did you march, Pat? Did you do marching
Oh,
in
yeah.
Junon?
You remember
Yeah.
me running back and forth and shit like really fast. And we're like, oh, that one guy doesn't look like someone as a commentator. And
Yeah,
shit.
I never had an issue there, and I think most of your points is done by doing the moves that they call out at the end there, which
in
That
front of the Heidegger.
yeah, and I think that was pretty easy for me to knock through.
Oh, that's where the points really
Yeah.
snowball. You know a lot of the mechanics on how things are rated. I never got
Doing
that.
the math. So
Yeah.
the whole point, like the whole driving aspect of this part of the game is just chasing Sephiroth.
Yep.
Though,
Mhm.
and you keep sort of like
Yeah.
catching him. You have a fight on the boat, not him. You see him other places. I can't
Right.
remember where.
Yeah, you guys are you're hunting down Sephiroth because that's what you think you're doing, but
Yes.
But
that's
that's not it.
not what you're doing.
You ain't doing that.
No.
Like, how's Sephiroth alive? And
This
the answer
guy
is he's
are
kinda not.
sick.
This guy. Pat, do you still listen to Costa del Sol in your head or on your Spotify when you go on vacation?
Yes.
Or no?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Every time
I do too.
every time I get on a plane, the Costa del Sol theme song is what I play.
Every time you go on the plane, okay.
Every time.
I
Every
play.
time
I
I get on the
literally like it is a superstition of mine. I will do it when I go home. Every time I've flown, ever in my life, I listen to the Tiny Bronco takeoff song in my head. I recite it in my head. It's a superstition I
That's
have.
wild.
And and literally
You got the right guests for this podcast.
and the high like I play the high wind theme or the tiny like it's specifically the Tiny Bronco because it has a different cadence to
Yeah.
it. But I recite that in my head every takeoff.
All right, so we're chasing Sephiroth.
Mhm.
That's a good. I mean,
I have an entire Final Fantasy playlist, not just of 7, but of like 8, 9,
Adjacent.
10. I don't have Costa del Sol.
dude, you're sleeping on
Oh,
14.
God,
By the
dude.
way, it's some real 14 bangers.
No, don't even, that's a whole
Yeah.
17-hour podcast.
So, the last thing we're gonna go on the City of Ancients
Sure.
now, but the last thing I remember like before that is like digging up the fossils. Remember, like you have to like dig up the stone to get into the
You had to find the lunar harp. Is
the
that what you're
final
talking
lunar
about?
harp.
Digging
Yeah,
the fossils.
yeah.
What
Well,
was
there's
that?
there's
Where's
like a
that?
big bone area, and like you gotta plant the charges.
Yeah, I think you're very out of order.
I'm out of
Yeah,
order.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I don't
Am I-
know that. But Gold Saucer, first encounter with Gold Saucer is disc 1. Before you
Yes.
go to Costa del Sol.
Yes, it is.
Oh no, it's when you come back from Costa del Sol.
I think you're talking
You-
about trying to find the weapon. There's a final weapon where
No,
they're
you need the lunar harp to get into the
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
go back to the fossil place to like dig up other things there, but like
So just to keep going with where the game is going, because we take the boat over, then you go through all of Barrett's stuff.
Yep.
You fight Jenova Birth on the boat.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but we go through all of Barrett's stuff.
You
We learn
love
his
Dine,
backstory. We learn about you fight Dine. Then you do Gold Saucer 1.
Can we, a brief interlude there.
Sure.
The Dine Barrett story, as an adult now, I identify solely with Barrett. Like Barrett is my dude.
hands ain't clean either.
I fucking love him as a character, and like every character is just masterfully written in their own little stupid way. But Barrett taking on Marlene, who by the way, very important character as well,
Yeah.
kind of neuters the whole Ares as a princess story because she's not the only chosen
Yeah,
one.
but you don't know that yet.
That's fair. Him taking on Dine's daughter as like a whole thing, as like a life debt for having to kill, like that is such a fucking cool. That's a
Yeah.
sick arc. That whole thing connected with me even at 12, where I was like, damn, this is pretty heavy.
Yeah, I will give you that. That was a hard hitting sequence. I didn't like the under part in the choral.
Yeah, I hated the
The
zone.
music was the worst.
The
Yeah.
zone sucked. Yeah,
It
the
was a
zone
real
sucked.
Bummer, and the guy was following you, like the
Yeah.
punk guy.
Oh yeah. He's like,
Yeah.
"Ugh."
Yeah.
Barrett lights him up through.
He has the
couch.
hands in pocket waddle, you know, and he's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
kicking.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it hits, like it does its job.
Yeah. Heavy sequence. Anyway.
So we zip through
That's
Gold
your
Saucer.
first year
meet
chocobo
Kate
race
Sith.
to get out there. You meet Kate Sith.
Hate Kate Sith.
Which
Hey, Kate Sith.
the other thing for Gold Saucer and another thing.
3, 2, 1. Hate Kate
Hate
Sith.
case. I hate him. He sucks. Yeah. Gold Saucer apparently was built on the remnants of the old city.
Yeah, Coral.
Of Coral.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it. I was literally like almost today years old when I learned that.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that. And there
There's
were
no
all the old
reason
townies.
for it to be like the North Coral. They're like, yo, shit.
So
can't believe you're
Shinra
showing your
literally,
face here
much
now.
like Nibelheim,
Yeah,
Shinra
it's the
literally
same
was like,
shit.
let's build Vegas on this and people won't care. And
Yep.
that's exactly what
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
And they left the townies there to seem crazy.
Yes.
And they were like, you can say that we did this. No one's going to believe you. And they're
Yeah.
going to all go. And like,
Yeah.
that's literally what happened.
Am
Fucking
I-
crazy.
Am I wild? Wasn't there some form of slavery there at some point from Shinra, or it was there for not internment camps, but they were camps of
They
some
would
sort.
eject
They were
people.
fences.
They would
And-
eject people from the casino that
you think
yeah.
overstepped.
Throw them in prisons. Yeah.
That was it. They were using it as a prison.
Mhm.
It
Yes,
was a prison.
yes.
Yes.
Which, again,
That's dark.
crazy shit.
That's dark.
Yeah.
Let's build a
Crazy shit.
casino.
And
So
then,
you-
of course,
on a
Kate
prison.
Sith.
You meet Kate Sith. He tells you a fortune.
Mhm.
You go on the date.
No, not for
yet,
a
not
while.
yet.
Yeah.
that's so you
Okay.
go
Okay.
back.
Okay. Okay. You meet the head of Gold
Dio.
Saucer.
You
Dio.
meet fucking Dio. I quick aside there. You meet Dio in Rebirth, and we won't. This is not a Rebirth podcast, but I had to point out, and I messaged this to Pat. I was like, "Who the fuck is this dipshit they added into Rebirth?" And Pat's like, "This dude's 100% in the original game." I'm like, "No fucking way." And I think when you see the game, polygons don't do justice how absurd it is at times.
Oh,
And when
really?
you see it fully rendered on the screen of what this person is, and he's literally like Macho Man Randy Savage
He's a
with like
man
a,
in a
with a
Speedo.
cloak,
Yeah.
Folk.
and like it blew my mind because like it actually gaslit me because I was like, "There's no chance this dude's in the original game," and like Pat's like, "Dude, he's a major player in Gold Saucer for the entirety of disc 1." I'm like, "Are you fucking serious?" And like I go back, I'm like, this fucking dude, this Goku dipshit Speedo wearing motherfucker is in this game, and I had no idea.
Best
But the
guy.
polygons don't do it justice. And by that point, the game's so cool, I don't really care.
Isn't Dio the leader of the battle arena?
He leads all of Gold
Yeah,
Saucer. He's like
he
the
runs
president.
all of Gold
yeah,
Saucer,
or
yeah.
Got
the,
it.
yeah,
Yeah, he's
chairman.
the guy. So you're going through Gold Saucer. You're going through. I don't want to do this in order, but like you're Costa del Sol. Obviously, you're having fun there. You see Hojo, and like it's like, oh, we have off time. There was also a town. And sorry, I should have this, but there was also a town. It was where Ares grew up. Where the Turks are there as well, and then you meet Elena there. Is that also the first disc? What
no,
town?
she was in the slums of Midgar.
No, it was a scene where she's like, our son. Oh, maybe it was Zach's parents.
Zach is from
That's in Gungaga.
Gungaga, yeah,
Gungaga.
Gungaga.
And that's a meme how he says it.
Gungaga.
Gungaga.
All right, so like, there's a lot of these places, but like any first disc place before the City of Ancients, sort of that you guys want to talk about,
Our first encounter with the Turks.
which is back in Midgar.
That's Midgar, but it is kind of an
But
interesting
they keep
one.
following you.
Yeah,
in
and
that cave thing was fun.
And they grow in numbers every time you meet them, which is a little bit interesting and fun because you meet Rude. Obviously, you meet Reno first, and then you meet Reno Rude, and then you meet Reno Rude Elena, and then you meet Reno Rude Elena Singh. By the time you get to the temple, at that point they've grown.
Yeah. I think you are, I guess, underestimating how far into the game Temple of the Ancients is.
I think you're probably right, but that's like sort of the big turning point because the game changes there.
Well, because we go through, we did Barrett's story, then we stop at Cosmo Canyon. So we'll go through that. We meet Bugenhagen. We learn all about Seto and stuff. Then we get to
You learn about
Nibelheim.
live stream. You
Yeah.
learn about everything there.
Then we go through Nibelheim, where we find out that the town is not burned somehow. Blah blah blah. You go through all of that, and then there's some stuff that's not really adding up. And even from like Tipa's point of view, she's kind of real quiet about it. Then we go through Sid, where we meet Sid.
Yeah.
We go to Rocket Town.
Yeah.
Then we learn
That's
about
Tiny Bronco takeoff.
we-
Instant party member.
we learn
that we're floating.
we learn about how much he hates Shira and how much
Yeah.
he
Sheila,
is.
and yes,
We were talking about
we
that.
were talking about that.
Yeah.
It's Sheila.
It's Shira. Shira.
with
Is
an
it
R.
Shira?
Yeah, with an R.
Oh,
Yeah.
I remember Sheila.
Shireen?
It's Shira.
It's Shira.
Mhm.
She's like
I
the,
trust Pat.
Yeah.
I just trust Pat.
Yeah, and then we learn about the whole space program, and we see his whole cutscene about how close he was to going there, and then he's super excited because he thinks that they're gonna come revive the space program, but it's just Palmer trying to steal the Tiny Bronco.
Yeah.
So then
Palmer, best boss fight.
Then we get to
Gets hit by a
Palmer.
bus.
It
Palmer.
does. After you beat him.
Yeah.
then we get the plane, and now I'm trying to remember, where do we go right after we get the Tiny Bronco?
I don't think we can fly yet, so we can
No,
only go
it's
in
still
the
in the
water.
water. Yeah.
Well,
It's-
this is that's the Keystone thing. That's when you're going for the Keystone, right?
Yeah, but I don't think we know why we need the Keystone yet, and I don't think we know why we need to get to the Temple of the Ancients yet.
Well, Ares
We might.
Ares leaves. She says, "I'm going." Oh! It's because no, I'm wrong about this. Because they go into the temple, the ziggurat thing, and they
Mhm.
shrink it down, and
Yes.
and
That's
Cloud attacks her, and he's like, "Oh,
That's
she's
when
like,
she
I'm
leaves.
leaving."
But yeah,
Yeah.
going through the Temple of the Ancients, I'm trying to remember where was the carrot on a stick from Rocket Town to you need to get to the Temple of the Ancients. That's what I'm trying to remember.
They are pursuing Sephiroth, and they discover the black materia play. I don't remember how or where, but they do during that sequence. And the meteor play.
Yeah.
And then it becomes like, hey, where is this stored? And the Temple of the Ancients is the next location.
Right.
It might be following Cloaked, the robed folks.
I don't know.
I'm
I don't know.
going to read.
I'm like,
But because Gold Saucer, you're getting the Keystone. That's the whole point of Gold Saucer in the first run. Is getting Dio to give you the Keystone.
That's the second time we go through, though. I don't.
When do we learn about black materia? Because we're chasing Sephiroth through Rocket Town before we get to City of Ancients, because we learn that the black materia will summon meteor. But I don't know.
Is
how
Vincent disc 1? No, that late disc 1? Yeah, maybe he is.
All right.
Well, anywho,
Give me a.
I think you're following the Turks as well.
Turks
No,
are
the Turks
following
everyone-
us.
Turks following you.
No, I think everyone has a beat that the Temple. Oh, do they take Eris? They take Eris at some point, don't they?
In Midgar, but you get her back.
I thought they take her to the temple, and you have to.
No,
'cause she's up on the altar.
with us. She's with us when we go to the temple.
Does she break away from the group to go to the altar?
Yeah, but it's like when you're first running in. But like that's
Okay.
when you first enter there with Ares, she has to be in your party. And there's a lot of cutscenes of her, like the ancients are talking to me and blah. Like I don't quite understand, and they're showing her stuff and.
Got it.
Yeah, it says once you get the tiny Bronco, you're on the lookout for information regarding the whereabouts
So
of the
I
temple.
think
of
I
the
got it.
ancients.
I think I got it. So like you're in Calm first, then you go to Chocobo Farm and Mithril Mines, then you're in Junon.
Mhm.
First glimpse of Jenova in battle.
Yep.
Then you do Costa del Sol to Mount Coral.
Mhm.
Gold Saucer and Coral Prison. Then you go to the Gongaga site. You see the ruined reactor site.
Mhm.
You encounter the Turks here, the three of them. Ares and Tifa learn of Zack. And Zack was presumed dead. Then you go to Cosmo Canyon. I thought that was before that, but okay. Learn the planet's alive. Then you
Yep.
hit Nibelheim again. And then it sort of jumps. It jumps from here to the Temple of the Ancients.
Yeah, from Nibelheim you go to Rocket Town.
Nibelheim to Rocket Town.
and then
you
you
get the
get
tiny
the-
Bronco.
get the tiny
because
Bronco.
Rufus tries to get it.
Yeah, and actually that is
here we
it
go.
because you can take it.
Kate Sith, revealed to be a Shinra spy, helps guide them manipulate access for Shinra.
That's the Kate Sith.
So
play.
you learn of the
Okay.
black materia.
So Kate Sith gives you intel from the inside based on a meeting he's heard that the Turks and Shinra are going to the Temple of the Ancients because they learn about this new
Okay.
power.
Yes.
That's my.
And you get the
that's what I think.
keystone from the gold saucer.
And the keystone is when, and Kate Sith in his redemption arc for telling you that he's been a spy. Now he falls in love with you guys. He's a piece of shit character.
Yeah.
Never use him. He goes and he helps you get the key card or
Yes.
the keystone rather.
Yeah,
from
I
you.
don't-
He
Is
finesses.
he going to
it.
get shrunk?
I don't think that he tells you where the keystone is, but once you do find it, he steals it from you and then
Yes.
calls the Turks to deliver it to them.
Oh right, that. Wait,
and
well,
then when they're
They're
like,
in there first.
yeah, because we end up getting the keystone, and then Kate Sith steals it from us and then calls them, and you have to chase him around. And then he gives it to Sang on the helicopter, and they go from there. And then when you go to he's like, well, you're gonna have to take me with you, and they're like, the fuck, we're not taking you with us. And then he's like, by the way, I've kidnapped Marlene, so you
kidnapped
might
us.
as well.
And you're like,
This
okay.
asshole, this fucking asshole.
It took me like 3 playthroughs to realize Kate Sith wasn't like the big stuffed animal.
I agree. I thought he was a big guy
agree.
too.
Yeah.
And I did not realize he was remote controlled. Even when they revealed he was remote controlled, I thought he was that thing.
He's a remote control cat.
yeah, that
Yeah.
rides a giant overstuffed
Yeah.
Moogle.
Like, just make him the Moogle. Why is there a cat on there?
Mog? Moogle.
Right.
How is he? How he?
Yeah,
Someone's
Moogle.
manipulating a cat who is manipulating a Moogle.
The only 2 things in every Final Fantasy: Sid and a Moogle,
And Chocobos.
Chocobos.
and a Cactuar.
So you go
And
to
a
Bone
Cactuar.
Village.
And a Tonberry.
Well, no,
There's a lot.
not Bone Village yet. That's
I
afterwards.
say
though.
there's more than two.
There's
too
only
many.
2 things.
So once you go through the Temple of the Ancients, once you get the keystone, once they get the keystone, but Sang ends up giving it to you, and then you go into the Temple of the Ancients. You do all that whole fun stuff. You see Sephiroth and his plan to summon Meteor, and then they learn that the temple itself is the black materia, and they have to solve the puzzle, and that's what shrinks the temple down.
Sorry, I was mixing up temple and city.
Yeah. So
Yes, yeah.
that ends up happening. Then Kate Sith volunteers to die, and almost makes you feel bad for him for a second. And
Yeah.
You're
"Wait,
like, he's
no,
a
I hate this
fucking,
guy."
he's a toy.
And then
Yeah.
1 second later, he comes back.
Yeah,
Which, a 12-year-old, I didn't get it, but I was in for it.
he comes back when Cloud is pummeling Ares.
Yeah.
Like pummeling her, and he's like, "Oh, hey guys, bad time." What the hell? So yeah, you see Sephiroth manipulate Cloud. He gives him.
Does
the
Cloud hit
material.
Ares?
Yeah, he's like
He's
pummeling her.
smack. He's
Yeah.
like,
Wait, when is this?
Because
Yeah.
he's being taken over.
yeah.
He's
Oh,
not. He's
this
not
is when
doing
he's-
it.
This is when he's lost his
Right.
mind.
So yeah, he gives the black materia to Sephiroth, and then pummels Ares, and Kate Sith's like, "Hey guys, it's Kate Sith too. What's going on?"
Yeah. That's brutal.
So at that point, they're
Piece of
now on
shit.
the lookout for Ares, and they need to find out where she went. They wake up in Gongaga, of all places, which is weird, but that's where they do it. And then that's when you go to the Bone Village, and you have to dig up the Lunar Harp, because otherwise you can't get through the forest.
Yeah.
Oh,
The sleeping forest.
The sleeping
You just keep
forest.
running. You just keep running the
Yeah,
screen.
it's the
without it.
Lost Woods
Yeah.
take.
I was
of
literally
Final
gonna say
Fantasy,
that,
right?
yeah.
Sorry,
So-
I didn't mean to take that.
No,
You
but
wanna
it's
say it?
so. No, you did.
You say it.
You said it already.
I'll take it back. I
That's
did
cool.
not say that. Go ahead, Steven.
You know, it's like in the Lost Woods.
Damn, God, that's such a good reference.
Yeah.
God, that's really
Wish
good
I thought
timing.
of
Just
it.
hits.
So, City of Ancients, which is a totally different vibe.
I don't remember what's City of Ancients again.
It's like you're under. It's like an under. It's like an. It used to be underwater. It's the place. It's
Is
like,
that the shell-looking place?
yes.
Wait, I thought that was the Temple of the Ancients.
The Temple
No,
of the
the-
Ancients, is like the Ziggurat Temple.
Yeah, it looks like a pyramid.
Yeah, and that goes away. It becomes the crater in the ground once it becomes the material. Yes,
Exactly.
okay.
Then
yeah.
you-
That's Puzzle Dungeon. Yeah,
and you
I remember
walk
now.
through this
What's-
forest, and you go to the City of the Ancients.
What's the big boss in Temple of the Ancients? Do we know that?
The wall.
The wall.
Oh,
yeah,
the demon wall.
demon
Okay,
wall.
yes, I know.
Demon
exactly.
wall is
All right.
tough.
Yeah, tough fight.
Yeah.
That's a Phoenix Down on lock.
That was
fight.
a tough one.
Well, before we get to City of the Ancients, we go through the Sleeping Forest. We go up through the snow town.
Right, Forgotten
I'm
Capital.
trying to remember what it's called. But
Oh, Icicle.
yeah, it's like the Icicle Inn and all
yeah.
that. So that I can't remember what the name of that.
You
place
go
is.
through that before
That's after.
Eris
Yeah,
No,
dies?
that's after. That's
Yeah, you're
after. she
snowboarding to
dies.
that, dog.
That's before.
You
You're-
snowboard to that
Don't-
after Eris
am I-
dies.
am I
and that
wrong?
kicks off Dick 2.
I
Disc.
believe you
Maybe-
are, because that
maybe you're
is
right.
like
You watch what you watch Aris die at the end of disc 1.
the
Yes,
party
correct, that
travels
is.
to
you're right.
Icicle Inn.
I'm sorry.
And
You're
then,
right.
because that's the hilarious thing, and that's what everyone was talking about in this one, because obviously they get to Eris's scene in Rebirth, and they're like, "Are you
Yeah.
going to kick off the next game with the snowboard?" Like, you come off the most heavy moment in the fucking game,
Yeah,
and you snowboard.
yeah.
Yeah, so we
So by
watch-
now you have your entire party. What's everybody running? I'm a Sid Vincent boy.
You have Vincent at this point at disc 1?
You can go to Nibelheim
Yeah.
and get Vincent.
I don't think I got him that early.
you can
at,
get
at,
him. You
12.
can get him in the second you go back to Nibelheim. You
Yeah,
can
I
get
think
him.
I think the earliest point that I can, my final party, is Sid Vincent up until Northern Crater, and I go Sid Barrett because Catastrophe gets too powerful as.
I was
Catastrophe's
late
sick.
getting Yuffie, so like
Oh,
she
Yuffie's
was
good
late
too.
to me.
Yuffie's great.
I never used Yuffie.
I don't think I did either.
You never used Yuffie?
Never. I never had, and there was no room. It was Aris and Tifa.
I used her in like subsequent playthroughs, and I liked her, but
Yuffie was like an interesting character.
16.
Okay. She is
Why do you like her?
Jesse.
I don't.
Pat was directing to me. I immediately deflected. I don't. Good answer. Only answer. She's just kind of a pain in the ass, and she's like comic relief, but it never hit for me. Especially at 12, I was like, shut up. And I want to be an edgelord like Vincent.
Yeah,
She
what do
was
you-
also somewhat of a thief, no?
yes.
She was
Yeah.
definitely
Stole
a thief,
one.
not someone.
Once
like an
once you get the
actual-
tiny Bronco, you don't have to go do the Temple and Ancient stuff. You can go do, and I think it's meant for you to go do the Wutai side quests on that side. Because if you go back and do it later on, all that stuff is around that level. It's like assuming that that's
Yeah.
when you'd be going through it.
Yeah, because you could have skipped Wutai,
Mhm. Yeah, I did. I think the first time I did it.
but then they force you back.
They don't ever force you to do Wutai.
Whenever
you
you-
don't ever have to do it.
Whenever you're like in a forest.
No,
like, she'll,
when
like, she'll,
when
like,
you
counter
wake up after Cloud goes through the Mako, don't you wake up in Wutai?
No.
No, you wake up
Gungaga,
in-
Gungaga.
Is it
no,
Gungaga?
no. when
No,
you-
it's Medial, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Medial.
Medial is where you come back.
Yeah,
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 Medial.
yeah.
yeah, you don't ever have to do Wutai. You can skip that whole thing and never learn anything about it.
Yeah, Yuffie and Vincent were dev time-locked characters that were intended to be very important because Vincent's story is actually pretty impactful.
That's
No one
awesome.
knows if he's a vampire or not, but it's clear he's a vampire for no reason. He sleeps in a coffin, but they're like, I don't know, maybe
Transforms
he's a vampire.
into Frankenstein. though.
He's
Yeah.
I mean
He was super important.
He's a Hojo experiment.
He's a
but,
Hojo
yeah,
experiment, correct.
I don't think he's necessarily a vampire.
Let's all talk about how
But
cool
he does
is.
sleep in a coffin.
No,
Yeah.
because him wasn't it him and Lucretia?
Mhm.
Lucretia, yeah.
Lucretia. He was in love with her.
Yep.
No?
Yes.
And then I don't remember if it was Gast or if it was Hojo.
Hojo.
It was
Gas was a nice guy.
Gast was
Gast
really
was
nice guy.
the first.
Gast
then
was,
it was
with
Hojo.
Lucretia, and I believe Hojo was the one who talked them into letting
giving
Hojo.
her the Jenova
Yeah,
cells,
give the Jenova
which then
cells for the-
created Sephiroth.
No, Gas was with Esmeralda, like Ari's mom.
Yeah.
No,
Am I
you're
wrong?
thinking. Her name starts with an I.
Yeah, but Gas was with Ari's mom.
I believe they talked, but I think that it was gassed with
But
with.
they were together.
I think it was Hojo and Lucretia.
Well,
I think
Oh,
Gast was
you're right.
with.
Okay,
I
you're
don't
right.
remember what her
Yeah.
You're right.
what is Aris's mom's name?
Lucretia. Yeah, you're right. It's Lucretia.
No,
No, Ares'
Ares'
mom.
is.
Oh,
Ares.
it is Esmeralda. I
It's
believe.
something with an
No.
I.
It is
Esmeralda.
Ephalna.
Ephalna,
right?
Ephalna,
That
yeah.
was it.
I didn't even get it through on the Google
what I was
thing.
saying.
It's Ephalna. That was what'd you hear? Ephalna.
Esmeralda. Yeah, she had long hair,
Yes, she had long, very
Yeah.
poofy
very long,
hair.
chunky hair.
Yeah, chunky hair.
Maxing
Maxing polygons on that
We're
one.
gonna leave the graphics conversation out because they are perfect.
Yeah, they
um,
are.
But yeah, like so Vincent. Let's just talk about how cool he is. He's the coolest guy.
He was so maddened that he locked himself in that coffin.
He's so mad. About
If that's not the most edgelord shit, this game has so many edgelords in it. It sets so many trends for what edgelords could be. Because Sephiroth, obviously, the ultimate edgelord villain is a trendsetter, transcended gaming. Vincent, also an edgelord, gets so angsty he locks himself in a fucking coffin for how many? I don't even remember how
well,
many
this
years.
because he
he's in
took
it.
his girl. He took his girl. Hodo took his girl and then impregnated her with like, and then like
And
twisted
then,
it up.
Yeah.
There-
Imagine like getting cheated on. Now your girl's having a baby, but also the baby is injected with this phenomenon that landed
It's like
in a
getting
crater.
It's like getting cucked by like evil Bill Nye.
All I'm saying is there's many ways to deal with this type of trauma. Locking yourself in a coffin,
Well,
edgelord
because
thing
he
to do. I
was
still say.
Because he was worked on also. He was
Yeah.
manipulated, so he
Yeah.
was like, I gotta lock myself away.
Oh, he's like the monster within.
He's the monster. I can't contain.
Uh-huh.
I
thought
don't
he
think
was a-
that's why he was doing it. I think he was just edgelording it up. Like, this is my sin, and I will deal with
Yeah,
this.
he thought it was his
myself.
original sin. Yeah, he thought it was his sin.
He does talk like that too
Yeah.
in my head. Yeah.
Wait.
Can everyone do a Vincent voice that they heard in their head?
You got this.
I'll give you a line.
Yeah, give me a line. Give me a line.
I gotta
Line.
see the photo though.
Line.
The line is, let's see here. We have.
What is it? Man is nothing but a miserable pile of lies. Like Castlevania. or something.
Oh yeah. What is a man but a miserable pile of secrets? Enough talk. How about you?
Throws the
I'll-
goblet.
Yeah.
The cling. It's so good.
Too much hope is the opposite of despair. An overpowering love may consume you in the end.
It didn't
How about
sound like
like
that.
8 words?
Too
No,
much.
I'm giving you the line.
can't-
I will
no,
say it
I-
like you want me to say it like I hear it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to see the conversation.
Let's do it looking at each other.
Okay.
Oh, where, can I write it down?
I'm gonna Google
Too much-
notable Vincent lines.
Too much hope is. That's what I did. It was not easy
Is
to get.
too much hope.
All right. How about this?
No, I'm writing it down.
No. I got good ones. So there's task ones. There's bewildered ones. Prescient admonitions.
Yeah.
If that's true, then we're in for it. Go ahead. Yeah. Look me in the eye.
When I bring up my third finger, that's when we start.
You're gonna say it.
We're both saying it at each
at
other.
the same time.
This
the
is-
same line.
This
Okay.
is awkward.
If
All
that's
right.
true-
You say if that's true, then we're in for it, and I will respond with, "If that's true, we should hurry. Something terrible could happen at any moment." So you go first.
If that's true, then we're in for it.
That's what he sounds like to you.
No, I don't know what to do. I'm not a
Oh,
voice
all right,
actor.
Oh, I had his voice in my head.
Go on. Well, it needs to be like draconic.
If that's true, we should hurry.
You just sound like you.
Something terrible could happen at any moment.
You're just adding like an extra.
Well, I thought he was me. I named him.
You're
me.
just
Okay,
you're
okay.
whispery.
Okay.
Yeah, well, he was very intense. Like he had very intense.
Well, maybe
Too much
maybe
hope
it's like if that's
is the
true.
opposite of despair.
Well, what do you think he sounded like?
Just like
Sounds
that.
like-
It was more guttural. You know?
That's true.
Too
All right,
much
say,
hope.
give me. We should go back to the ship now.
We should go back to the ship now.
That's what he
Right.
sounded like.
That-
It
like,
sounds like a
he's- he
German man
sound-
trying to speak English.
With a little bit of vampirism.
What does vampirism sound like?
We should.
I
go back
want-
to the town. I want to suck your dick.
Pat, give me a Sid. You were always Sid. I named Sid. So my game, my first run through had
'Cause he had
people
blonde
I
hair?
knew, and Sid was Pat in my game.
Yeah.
Miguel Janeo was Barrett in my
Wow,
game.
that's strong.
Yeah.
Did you typically name your FF parties after your friends?
My first run through, I did. I named it after people I knew to have more of a connection.
I think, if I'm not mistaken,
Solid.
I think we all were like, let's pick a character that's our favorite, and then we'll be that guy.
Wait a minute. So that must mean that Pat was Zell.
I
Chicken
was
wuss.
not.
I didn't.
was-
FF8, I grew out of it. In my first run through of
Oh.
my first Final Fantasy, I had
What do you mean, what do we mean?
Mustos.
Because you're looking at Irvine and Zell. That's what I would see.
Yeah,
Yes.
100%.
yeah,
Thank
that's
you
definitely an
for
Irvine.
Irvine is a really.
Thank you for
I
that.
was Squall 100%.
I'm a selfie.
I mean, not that I associate you with a face
protagonist.
tattoo, but
That whole like I'm too cool for school, whatever. I was like, I want to be that guy so bad.
Irvine?
Pat,
Irvine?
So
Pat does
cool.
use
No, not
chicken
Irvine,
wuss a
Squall.
lot.
Oh, Squall.
Squall was just like, I
Chicken
ain't got
wuss?
time.
oh
I ain't
my
got
God,
time to
Elliot!
deal
If
with your
Elliot
bullshit.
is not Squall, I don't know who
Yeah,
else.
but he's like not cool.
Yeah, right.
It's gonna get posted.
Pat, give me a Sid.
He's not Squall.
Give me a
Uh,
damn it, Shira.
How would he sound? Like, damn it, Shira. Like,
I like that.
Pretty good.
That's a good one.
God damn it, Shira.
yeah.
Okay, this has been a good
I
segment.
was gonna do a Vincent, but I was gonna do it as like a Christopher Walken.
Dude,
just
yeah,
to-
dude, give me a Vincent. I'll
just to
give
do
you
it all the time.
you mean we weren't in pursuit of Sephiroth?
You mean we weren't in pursuit of Sephiroth?
That's good, but he doesn't use the right syllables for the intonations that he's doing.
Sephiroth?
No, like Christopher Walken.
Well, I know not Sephiroth. I mean, I was saying.
It's like
trying
you
to say,
mean
Let's give a
we weren't
let's
in
give a
pursuit
reference.
of Sephiroth.
That is a Christopher Walken right there for you.
Your father came home. And I said to your father, "All right, so Ares dies."
I can't believe it.
Whoa, we're in it.
I was upset when Ares died. Not just that. I was upset that the game didn't give me time to process it before immediately throwing me into a boss fight. I was like, no, not now. Like, give me a minute, man.
And the music kept playing.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Genova Water or Genova Life. Genova Life.
Mhm.
Yeah,
The water
and
keeps playing. The music, the piano theme
You
keeps playing.
fight to her death song. Yeah.
if
Dun,
you
dun,
if you
dun.
got the water ring on the way up, then you literally couldn't die.
Yeah, it was no problem.
Because none of her attacks did physical damage. They
Did
were
you
all
know-
water damage.
Oh, it's all water based. No,
Mhm.
I never knew
Did
that.
you know you were gonna she was gonna die before you played?
No, I had no idea, and I wept like a baby.
So this is the big question. I think is, did you cry? Did you cry, Pat? You wept.
Oh yeah, I remember staying up late because I knew I had to be close to the end of the first disc. So this happened for me probably like a quarter to 1 in the morning. So now and it was like, I believe it was a school night too. So like I was like half awake. I did not see it coming at all. I was so blindsided by it, and I was like, no. And like I said, then it threw me into a boss fight. I was like, I ain't got time for this. And then I remember being like so pissed. I was like, no, fuck, I'm gonna fuck this thing up. Like, and I beat this shit out of Jenova.
Did
and
you
I still
spoil it
just,
for us?
I don't think so. I'm not a big spoiler guy.
Played coy.
Yeah, I'm not a big spoiler guy.
So during development, the original thought around Final Fantasy VII was to kill off much of the party and to leave only about three standing. And that was rejected because they wanted Aerith's death to hit. Like, it seems like it hit Pat and
Oh,
stuck
yeah.
with you.
Yeah, and I
And
definitely
it sounds like it worked.
I did not see it coming at all. I was totally blindsided by that. I kept thinking like that we're gonna bring her back, and then they played the whole burial scene afterwards. I was like, they're not gonna bring her
Yeah,
back.
let her drop in the
Did-
water.
Yeah,
That was emotional.
Yeah.
Watching Cloud just let her drift
Her
down.
hair is all splayed out and stuff.
How did you respond, Stephen, to the sword plunge?
I think it was shock. And then I think quickly was, holy fuck, all the materia I gave her.
You didn't lose it. You didn't lose it.
Well, at that time,
I know. I also had that same like, oh my god, the gear. Like,
yeah.
I think you lost. I think you did lose a ribbon. I think I
You lost her
always
accessory.
I think I always believed. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I always believed I didn't get a ribbon because it was on her. Like I do think you lost her accessory.
Maybe that's possible. I would
I
have to go
would need
back
to
and
like
check.
fact check myself on that
Yeah.
one, but go ahead.
Then again,
Jesse's held a grudge against this for
Well, I remember
decades
playing feeling as if I was like handicapped because like a ribbon is like the greatest thing in the world.
yeah,
All
And-
status anomalies nullified.
Yeah.
yeah.
Go ahead.
phenomenal. But yeah, I mean, I think all of those cutscenes were phenomenally moving, and then watching Holy just kind of bounce,
Yeah.
just that whole thing was,
Out of the hair,
yeah,
chunky hair.
yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Pat.
You lose her weapon and her armor,
Yeah.
but you keep her accessory
Okay.
and
Then
her
I was
material.
wrong. Then I was
Okay.
wrong.
I did not go through. I went right into denial for stages of grief, and I was one of the people who was like, "Eris is an anagram for raise." I was a believer.
A truther.
I still think that meme still exists where people are posting like April Fool's videos that they finally found the Eris raise mechanic. And it still happens and people still buy it. They get millions of views and it's been someone clearly, chumping on people. I didn't cry at all because I was like, no chance. And then like it wasn't even until the end of the game. I lost it at the end of the game, the final cutscene, when knowing A, the Eris isn't coming back, and like that is canon, and B, that like it was just the end of the game. It was very emotional. But yeah, I literally was like in denial the entire game.
Yeah. I remember feeling numb. I was like numbed to it. I don't
Shut down.
think I cried. I think I wanted to cry more than I did, but I was really like, I was affected by the boss fight as well. Like the song playing and just the suddenness of it was like it hit really hard.
The song
So heavy.
tugged at your heartstrings, and
Yeah.
then the whole cutscene afterwards of letting her go into the water, that was rough.
Oh, and the because it's a fight of in pure grief, right?
Mhm.
Like it's just you're sitting in the grief because the music, and like I can go on a whole dissertation about the music, but the music is a character in the game, very much so. Uematsu, one of the greatest composers ever. That whole sequence, you're just sitting in your grief, battling through it, and you're like, I gotta fight. I gotta find how to fight. It's just.
Was there an equivalent like experience for people so like I'm trying to like think like reading books. You can read a book and like you can lose a character and it can be very painful. Like when Game of Thrones, when I read that and like Ned died, I like threw my book and I was like, and like a lot of people did, right?
Yeah.
It was very frustrating. Like books are one thing, but video games are an entirely different thing. This was like the most like technologically advanced RPG, the most graphic fidelity, yada yada yada. Like, had people had experiences like this in the past? That obviously like watching a movie and seeing a character you die is important, but it's a 2-hour movie.
Yeah,
And in this game you're living and breathing these characters for probably 25 hours at this point.
probably longer.
20
for me.
hours,
It took
something
me
like that.
forever.
Yeah, it took me
Yeah,
forever.
your first
too.
run through, you're meandering.
I think I played 68 hours. I think that was my first, my first run through. But like, was this like a totally novel experience, like humankind? Like, because video games been around for a while, but
It is not
no.
novel in Final Fantasy.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
there was definitely deaths in other video games prior to it, but this was my first. And when you think about like these characters are in my party, they can't like they're what do you call that? Like plot armor. Like it was like there's no shot they're gonna kill her. Like I had nothing to worry about. Like they might be a scary situation, but they'll be fine. And like this was my first time. I was like, oh, this is real. This actually happened. And like it hit exactly as they wanted it to.
Yeah.
Like that hit me like a ton of bricks.
And you just carry it. Yeah, I think it's I think it's a mix of things. To Steven's point, the way that it is animated, no. Like experiencing that cutscene does not exist before the PlayStation.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
And seeing that play out with a character you've grown to, no. Like, but there are deaths in other Final
For sure, but like
Fantasies,
FF6,
iconic
I'm
ones.
sure there's some,
Shadow, yeah. There's definitely sacrifices along the way.
but
and
like it's
heroic
sprites.
And I think
Yeah.
the key for Eris, and that like the big thing is Eris, to that point, I'm getting goosebumps saying it, guys. I'll lose it as an adult. Eris's fight to that point, she's a very pure, almost pacifist character in a very grim.
Yeah, she's like, we're
setting.
gonna be fine.
And
We'll
she
make it.
dies
Yeah.
not fighting.
Yeah.
And like she literally, her sacrifice is in the way that she would go out, which is she is trying to do what she believes is right and not fight and do something to end the fighting, and dies doing that as a martyr.
Yeah.
And like that's such a heavy character way to go too. Like she doesn't die in a battle in a
Yeah,
glory.
she
There's
didn't die
no glory
fighting.
in her sacrifice at all. Like there is glory, but like there's no like. But man, fucking A writing.
Brutal.
Yeah.
I
Just
wish
crazy.
I wish you would play 10 because there's so many causal relationships between not Titus or Titus,
Give us your best Vincent Valentine Titus laugh.
but between Yuna and Eris. Eris obviously being the original, but yeah, I don't know if I even experienced a video game character loss before Eris. So I think that was my first.
No, yeah.
And how much? Let's talk about Sephiroth now. Let's sort of let's go into the crux of him. How much did you hate him? Because at that point he was like, "Why do you think you're acting like?" He was like, "Don't act like you have feelings."
Yeah.
He was like, it was so. Like what he was obviously it wasn't Sephiroth, but it was so painful what he was saying.
Yeah, how flippant he was with her
Yeah.
life. Like she will be rejoining the live stream. Blah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I should have hated him, but I think like somehow how do you hate someone that you also think is a baddie and is pretty
So
badass?
cool.
Like he was
I would
literally
make out with
on
them.
He was so-
every like wallpaper of any computer I owned at the time. But
justified.
yet, you know,
I don't think I ever got that. Like, holy shit, this is the coolest guy I've ever seen. I think the scene of him walking through the fire, I was like, that's fucking badass.
Yeah.
But like, I never really I didn't really fanboy over Sephiroth all that much. I know a lot of people did. I just was like, I don't know.
When he hit that dragon for like 7,000 damage when you're
Yeah, I
killing
mean,
Do
he
the
was
flashbacks?
Like,
Yeah.
it was very cool. Like,
Oh, when you got to fight
clear he
as
was the
him.
man.
and the sound effect of his sound.
Yeah.
Sort of
Yeah.
it was really powerful.
Some say it's still sounding to this day.
Yeah, he was very cool. I mean, I would think that Vincent was a cooler character, and I would have thought that. I mean, I really liked Cloud a lot, but there was a lot of people who were like fanboying over Sephiroth. I was like, man, he's cool, but he's not like that cool. He's kind of fucking weird. Like the shit that he's saying was like it's so above my head, and like I don't know what the fuck this
Sounds
guy's
like
even
a
talking about.
madman.
I'm sorry this isn't a visual medium because Pat would always do like the perfect laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then with the Sephiroth, he's reading the book and he goes like this.
Mm. Yeah,
He looks up, you know,
like that deep sigh. Just
That was a big.
learning his
he does it. He does it in two fashions, right? He raises the arm, he's chuckling, and then he
Yeah.
goes down
Dips to
again.
the right.
He dips a little.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big dev talk. That was the first time they were able to do that. They were able to emote with polygons.
There you go.
This is
Yeah.
why they didn't do it on SNES. And thank you, PlayStation,
Thank you, PlayStation, for
for
that.
those emotes.
But wearing black, long silver hair, an egregiously long sword. He's just like
yeah. I believe that they said that
pauldrons.
the original idea was to have Sephiroth and Ares be related.
Yes, that is for
Um,
true. That is
yeah,
for sure because they have the same
that's
hair.
The same exact hairstyle and everything, yeah.
But then it was later subsumed by her and Zach.
Yeah.
Zach's relationship.
So we move on now from after that and we start scaling
Or
the
an
mountain.
icicle in.
Yeah, well, the Icicle Inn is the first time you can see Gast and the Fauna. They have those
Yep.
cool cutscenes there, which I was like trying to figure out and I didn't.
Yeah, that
I was
was
like, I
tough.
can't piece this stuff together. But it's pretty cool now to go back through and like you're getting a lot of history lessons on the Cetra.
And like now we're cruising. So like we're going to Endgame. Obviously we have the whole huge materia thing,
Yeah.
which is a bit like a little bit wonky.
Well, we do from this point on. We do snowboarding. We get to the top of the mountain. We have the black materia, and then we give it to Cloud, who then gives it to Sephiroth,
Yep.
and that's
Yep.
when the weapons come.
Yep.
And so we get the first that whole scene of the weapon coming out was so fucking cool, man.
Yeah, it was like now it's a Godzilla game.
Yeah, there was and like that was another thing. I was just like, this is weird, but like I'm so on board in this part. Like that game could have sold me anything at that point.
It made
Like,
sense
best
too.
game
It's
ever
like
played.
the Earth the planet is like rejecting, and it
Mhm.
has these like beasts inside
Yeah.
of it, and just shot them.
That's very, very cool. It's its own defense mechanism.
Well, the
Wipe all
weapons-
life off the planet.
Yeah, I think the weapons came about prior to sealing away Jenova at the northern crater, right? So
Yeah, like I think a long time before that.
it was well before.
Yeah.
So the weapons were never used, but they were there,
Mhm.
and then woken up by black materia.
Yeah.
And that's the one that comes out, which was Junon. That was Diamond.
No, the diamond is the one that you fight.
It's flying.
Got it.
No, that's Ultima is the one that's flying.
Oh yeah, you're right. So it is Diamond that gets hit.
Diamond is the one that you fight and then takes a shot through the counter. Are you talking about the one that takes the shot
Yeah.
that gets its
Takes
head
to the
blown off?
Shannon, and
Yeah.
then the shot continues
Okay,
to the
no,
northern
yes,
crater.
you're correct. I thought you were talking about the one that comes up with the laser mouth that gets its head blown off. Fucking
Oh,
badass cutscene.
Yeah.
That was
Yes.
so cool.
another phenomenal FMV.
I don't remember if that one gets a name or not. It probably does. It's probably like Sapphire or
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. But yeah, so Emerald is in the water. Then you got Ruby, who's buried in the sand, and then Ultima is still flying around. But
Yeah.
Diamond, you fight once and then gets shot through. But turns out they weren't even aiming for that.
Yeah.
And then the second part of that cutscene is when you see all the rockets that Diamond launched.
Yes.
When they take out Rufus,
Yes.
which is so unceremonious for such a cool fucking character.
I mean, not the best way to die.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool.
cutscene.
Like it was, yeah.
It was
Yeah,
cool,
because he's
but-
just staring at it.
It's almost like an echo when his dad is like watching over the city and has like that classical music playing
Yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah.
background. Remember
Mhm.
when you hear like people like scream like when the plate's
The
falling
plate
down.
falls down, yeah. Yeah, and
Oh,
he's
man.
just
Really
listening to
just-
some classical music like
Yeah,
a
he
fucking
just-
psychopath.
Yeah.
It's Rufus.
Yeah.
Now his
No,
dad,
that's
when they drop the
President
plate.
Shinra?
Shinra, yeah.
Yeah, when they drop the plate, he's
Yeah,
like you hear like
he was saying we were talking
we can talk
about
about
the
drop like
the cutscene where Rufus dies, and he said like just staring out the window is
And
very
the flashes. of-
it's very reminiscent of the first scene where the plate's going down. And he's got the classical music playing in the
they
background.
bring him back in Advent Children though.
Yeah.
Which is not
that
great.
like
That's
I don't know, it
stupid.
feels bad.
Yeah.
That
Stupid.
whole I mean, they knew where their money was. I was gonna say before I got up to use the facilities. I was Team Rufus as far as my favorite edgelord. in
I
the
thought
game.
Rufus was cool. I
By
thought he
far.
was very cool.
I was
Well,
not
like
Team
you
Sephiroth.
teamed up with him at some points.
Mhm.
Like you like the Turks were like kind of cool with you at
Yeah.
some points.
Yeah, it's the whole like
And Turks
it-
like in Wutai,
enemy
they
of
were
my
like,
enemy.
we're off right now. Like we're on vacation.
Yeah.
yeah. enemy of my enemy talk.
And like Sang or the other guy, Rude, was like, Elena, like, don't bother them. Like,
Yeah.
we're all on vacation right now.
Rude,
Costa del
Rude
Sol.
was always dragged into shit.
Yeah.
Always.
I love how Costa del Sol was like the big peace area. Like no one
Yeah.
fight.
Rude loved Tifa too.
Oh yeah, he was really
crushed
because
it.
he's also a monk.
He had a crush on Tifa. I didn't know that.
So
He wouldn't attack her.
Well,
They-
Rude and
yes,
Tifa both
that is
punchies.
true.
They're both, yeah.
Both punchies.
but that you learn that in the first time you go back to Gongaga, they talk about that.
Yeah.
They overhear.
which one do you like?
Who do you have a crush on?
Yeah, who do you have a crush on? It's like perfect seventh
yeah.
grade. Who do you have a crush on?
So now
It
with
hits so perfectly.
post weapons coming out and prior to the whole diamond weapon thing, that's when Cloud goes missing. He goes
Yep.
down into the live stream,
And then it's
we
like,
gotta go
Deal
find
what?
him.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't have
Yeah.
Cloud anymore?
Yeah, Tifa's leading the party, and you can. It's very weird.
I hated that
yeah.
sound. The sound, I can't even mimic it because it's so terrible, but like that staticky wishy-washy when like
when he's in the wheelchair.
Oh,
that one.
God.
Yeah.
it's terrible.
No. You're talking about the. Oh, I wish I could just play it, but you're. I think we're talking about the same sound when you get to him in Midiel, and he is. It's what they said it was supposed to be was a sound of the respirator. That's what it's supposed to be, but the sound you hear is like.
Yeah, it's terrible. And he's just
It's-
shaking his
it's
head.
So awful.
Oh, yeah, that
Yeah.
was brutal. He's like, his head's flopping around.
yeah.
and
yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah.
Ooh ah.
Completely
Yeah.
useful.
Yeah.
I have his
Yeah.
lines here. Gurk.
Yeah.
Ooh ah ah. That's how I said them.
Yeah.
So so you meet him there. Then you get attacked by Ultima Weapon, and then both Cloud and Tifa go down to the live stream. And this is when you start piecing together Cloud's actual
Yeah.
memories and
So,
start
what
really figuring out what's going on here.
happened with Cloud?
Like then or like in the beginning?
like his story.
Well,
so
at this point, it's really like, who even is this guy?
yeah, who
because
is this guy?
Yeah.
The masterful deconstruction of your hero of the story.
Yeah.
They just take him from you. You're like just some
They
douchebag.
you're literally soldier A in
Yeah.
this story.
Yeah.
But he's not. He's not. He's soldier.
Sorry,
B.
yeah, I meant like the in a credits list of a hero movie.
Yeah.
You're an unnamed
He's the-
soldier
Yes.
man.
He's
Yes.
best boy grip.
Yeah,
Yep.
key grip,
Yeah.
best
So
boy
let's
man.
actually do his like timeline. So we go back to Nibelheim. His first, so he sends Sephiroth into the live stream. Then what?
Well, you got to back up even from
Well,
there.
yeah, you
right?
gotta.
So like
he's
he-
arriving.
Yes.
Zach is arriving.
I
Yeah,
know
well,
that. I know.
well,
So like
So he's a baby, right? And he wants to go join soldier.
yes.
And he can't make it.
Yep,
So
can't
then he
make it.
becomes just a typical Shinra soldier.
Yep.
So when they send everyone to Nibelheim,
Keeps his mask on.
keeps his mask on.
and
Yep.
keeps a low profile.
He's
Low
also the one who
profile.
gets
Watching
motion
Tifa.
Because
sickness on the
Tifa's
way
there,
there.
Yep.
all my friends
Yep.
are there.
Right.
And it's my
Mo-
high school reunion, and I'm like
Right.
working at a stop and
Yep. He gets
Yep.
motion sickness. He's like the
Mhm.
Yep.
worst.
And then he's like, wait, now's my moment.
Yep.
I'm going to throw him into
So
the
he
live
does it.
stream. Right.
So him and Zach escape from Nibelheim.
Him and Zach get captured.
Okay. Oh yes, they do because they get put into the canisters.
Mhm.
correct.
Correct.
Okay. How long are they in those cans?
A while.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what the timeline was.
Because once he escapes, it's like only a few weeks before the game starts.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe he thinks it's been 5 years, but it had been
It's been 7.
So I think he was in those pods for 2 years.
Okay.
Would
Wow.
would be my guess.
Okay. So he's in the pods, just getting the Mako
Yeah,
injected in him. Zach is okay.
4 years. They're in for 4 years, and Crisis Core explains
He's
that.
in for
Ah, there you
4
go.
There it
years.
goes.
They're in the pods for 4 years.
yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Cloud doesn't do well.
He doesn't do well.
Zach does fine because he was already
a soldier.
exposed.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the. By the way, how do you pronounce Mako?
I
Mako.
always said Mako.
Yeah.
It's my Mako.
I know you
People
always
It
said
says
refer
it's
to as
Mako.
Mako.
Well, because that's what that's what it canonically
Yeah.
is, and it annoys me.
And
But
materia-
Mako, we're saying Mako in this
And
presentation.
materia
Same
is just
thing with-
compressed Mako.
It's either Chocobo or
Yes.
Chocobo.
Yeah, I said
Chocobo.
Chocobo is technically correct. I say Chocobo.
I say Chocobo
Yeah,
also.
I say.
But I acknowledge it's wrong, and I don't care.
I go vice.
No, I think I say Chocobo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chocobo. Yeah.
Yeah, I say Chocobo.
It's like I say
like
Mario instead of Mario, and I get made fun of.
I do too.
Yeah.
Mario.
And apparently he doesn't say it's me. He says Itsumi, which is like
Seriously?
Yeah, it's like welcome to the game or something like
Yeah.
that. It means like
he doesn't
Like-
say
So he's
hey,
not being
it's me.
he's not being Italian.
No.
He's nothing. It's
No,
me,
that's-
he's saying like it's
That's
me.
crazy town. No, I think that's an old wives' tale.
I learned that from like Theo. the
No,
other
you're
day.
wrong.
No.
Eris is canon, and the developers
Yeah,
wanted
I'ma
it to be
Google
that
it.
way.
I'm gonna
But,
Google this.
So Cloud is infused with Mako and
4
Jenova
years.
for 4 years.
They
over the course of
escape. They're on the truck.
Correct.
He
First thing it says is no. Mario does not say Itsumi Mario. His iconic catchphrase is "It's a me, Mario."
Well, I don't think that's what the devs intended in Mario 64. 'Cause I also heard this. I didn't make this up.
120 stars completionist.
Gets out of the truck.
And then we get the epic,
Zach gets gunned down.
ambush.
Yeah,
which
Um,
by the way I think is more emotional once you learn about Zach and Eris's story.
yeah, because he's going to meet her.
Yeah. And the two lovers literally die in their own tragedy.
The two lovers literally die in their own tragedy.
Yeah.
So he is
Like,
lost for years.
Eris is killed by Sephiroth,
Yeah.
and Sephiroth inadvertently kind of leads to Zach's death as well, timing wise, where he's wrong place, wrong time.
Indirectly.
yeah.
But yeah, like
take
I
it.
mean, it's just give me one.
I'll give you one.
Thank you.
Just let me have this.
Just let me have this. Yeah, he's gunned down on his way
Gunned
going to see
down.
Eris, and he's trying to drag Cloud,
Yep.
the unhero.
Yep.
You
Correct.
find out the nobody.
Nobody.
Heroically drag this nobody, and he's such a bro about it.
Yeah.
The whole time trying to keep him positive. Like Cloud's such a downer,
Yeah.
and he's in there doing
He's doing the
squats.
squat
He's like, "We're gonna
thrusts,
get
yeah.
there, buddy." He's doing his circle X square movements or whatever it
doing
is.
squat
and
thrusts.
Yep.
he's doing his squat
And how does Cloud
thrusts.
repay him? He becomes
He
him.
fucking takes
Yeah.
his identity and his girl.
Yeah.
Well, he tried.
And that is why canonically Eris is not Cloud's.
Wow.
Thank you. This
Wow.
has been my
That's
take.
probably why she's super attracted to him, though.
because he thinks he's
Got the
Zack.
same sword. She's like, we're gonna get that giant
She
I
didn't piece that
know.
together.
5
Wait.
foot long sword.
Did we ever unpack that? How does she not realize Zack's entire persona? A uniform?
We
Don't
also
know.
skipped past the part where I wanted to bring up the fact that Pat had a Buster sword.
Yeah, I did.
Did you?
You did?
Yeah, we made one out of a giant piece of wood that was way too heavy.
Oh, I do remember
Yeah.
that now.
We
It was life sized.
Yeah,
Wow.
we
It
had
was
cut it
heavy as
out. Yeah,
fuck.
It was
it could have
sturdy.
been like plywood and it would have been fine, but no.
was like
Instead we
oak.
used like oak and it was like 80 pounds.
It was at least 20 pounds, like
Yeah.
hefting this thing with like a wooden handle.
Yeah, we used a little circular, not the circular, like the drill bit with the circle on it to put the 2 holes in it.
Yep.
And yeah, cut those out. Spray
Material
painted the
holes.
whole thing silver. It looked awesome, but yeah, it was like you couldn't do anything with it. It was
Yeah.
It's like 50 pounds and we're 12. Like, what am I supposed to do with this thing?
So yeah, like Eris was like, I guess everyone just gets a giant sword.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Maybe she just like kind of left it alone. It's like my boyfriend wore that exact outfit.
Yeah, I think if
Shoulder pad and
anyone,
all.
I think if anyone would have called
No
it
one
out,
else wears it in your little paramilitary force.
if anyone would have called out Cloud, it would have been Tifa because
She was just sort of waiting.
Cloud picked up Zack's sword
Yeah.
to go after Sephiroth.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she was gravely cut, but
She picked up Zack's sword?
no, Cloud did.
Yeah, but I don't.
Because in that
She-
scene where Tifa runs
Did Tifa
up,
have the Masamune in that scene to
Yes.
go attack him?
Yes.
Fucking crazy.
Because
I
then
thought no one but Sephiroth could use it.
Sephiroth
they say that.
blew Zack back,
Only one man can use.
and then
this.
Yeah.
Cloud picked up the sword.
Oh, yeah. Wow. What a scene. Rife with plot holes, but damn, what a story.
Yeah.
Going back to Materia real quick, out of the landscape of the Final Fantasies, how would you have rated the Materia system?
I haven't played a lot of Final Fantasies.
Number
other than
one.
like 10. I played a lot of 10, but I hated that whole like
You didn't like the sphere grid? That's what I was kind of
it's
basing
like the
this
3
off of.
seashells. Like I can't I didn't understand it. Like I got to a point in that game and I quit it. So I did not beat that game.
Interesting.
But
I
like
I did and was very confused the entire way through.
10?
Yeah. 10 for me. I was like, wait, so it's his dad? What? It was just
what?
weird.
Isn't that 8?
No.
It's,
Eight,
it's all of them in
eight-
a way.
8 is a way bigger mind fuck because it's like a time travel paradox. It's very stupid.
You fight your mom.
I also didn't like the
and
junction
Time
system.
Lord.
I was like, why can't we just have materia? Like, why
Yeah,
can't I just
no,
get little
the-
glowing balls here?
The junction system was like cool when you knew how to break it, but like in real
Diablos,
play, it was
no,
terrible.
no encounter.
Yeah.
Rush to the end.
But
Wow.
the actual materia system I liked. Everything was labeled. It was like use this if you want to use this, and then you get different ranks of it as it levels up. Like it was very straightforward and
straightforward.
easy to use.
And the flexibility but depth and the simplicity of it is so cool. Like you could build an entire fighter character with all counterattack and pink stuff, or like a full
Yeah.
tank HP up, like stuff like
Yeah,
there's so much flexibility.
How did
It's so
Chrono
cool.
Trigger work in this? I don't remember how the Chrono
I
Trigger
never
had it.
played Chrono Trigger.
Chrono Trigger was learned abilities. I don't remember how they parsed out per character, but Chrono Trigger had team up attacks, which was fucking
Yeah.
awesome. Very, very cool.
Very good game, Pat.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard
Incredible.
nothing but good things,
Yeah.
but to try and go back to play it now,
I did it in 2007,
it's
so like
it's
doable.
weird. I feel like 2007 is not that far removed from
It was
PS1.
like Gears of War.
Almost 20 years away.
I'm just from PS1.
From today.
Oh, from today is different. Well, that's like to go back now and try and play EverQuest. Like you look at the graphics and you're like, I want to blow my brains out. This is
Yeah.
awful. So to go from
But it's pixel art.
We're going
It
to-
lasts forever.
going to like PC games and PS5 to go back to like
Yeah.
to Chrono Trigger.
I guess.
It's tough. Like it's if the nostalgia is not there to try and really get into it, it's a little tough.
Okay, so at this point in the game, the weapons are out. We're doing our big materia stuff. We're
Yeah.
also deep in the end game. We're getting ultimate weapons. We're trying to get limb breaks. We're trying like
Do we want to go back because where we had stopped and went on a tangent was in the live stream trying to figure out who Cloud is. Do we want to iron that out or do we want to call? it a
yeah, let's
day?
finish it. So like Cloud. Well, I was doing like his like physical body.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Cloud himself. They escape the truck, and then he shows up at the train station, in Midgar, and that's where Tifa like stumbles on him, and she's
Yeah.
like, "Hey, buddy, you want to go on a
And
mission? Like,
he's
you look like you
he's
need
fucked
something."
up too. Yeah,
Yeah.
He's really fucked up.
What's up, Tifa?
She's like, "You look like you need
Yeah.
a mission or something."
Just a
Yeah.
pity hang.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's real-
basically said she hired it on because she needed to keep him around to be like, what the fuck is it? She wasn't even sure if it was him.
Yes.
And then she's like, there's things that you know that you shouldn't, and like things that you should that you don't. Like it's weird.
You're a mess, bro.
Yeah,
like,
he was a total mess.
What besides that are we not hitting?
Well, you start actually piecing together what really happened to him. Like he was there. The town did freaking burn apart.
You see the Zack scene in this, don't
you learn that Zack was there the entire time, but also Cloud was. So like that's.
Oh, you
what
don't see
learn.
the Zack death scene here?
Someone shows you the picture, like
no.
Sephiroth's like, "Where do you see yourself in this picture?"
Yeah,
He's like, "Who's that guy with the black hair?"
yeah.
And Tifa's like, "Ignore it." Remember, she
Yeah.
was like, "Ignore it. Like,
Yeah,
don't worry
she
about
was
that."
like, don't listen to him. Yeah, don't listen to him. He's just
she's
fucking with
trying
you.
to cover.
Yeah.
It's like he's just fucking with your memory. Don't do it. Like, and she's like, yeah, I'm not worried about it.
Big
blah, blah, blah.
enabler,
I know I was
Tifa.
there.
Big enabler.
Yeah,
Was
which-
Tifa protecting Cloud because she loved him, or was she also actually confused? I
codependent.
didn't process it.
I
Was it
think,
codependent?
honestly, it was. There was a codependency thing. She didn't want him to
Why are you
learn.
besmirching her? Like, why are you just so
She's-
trying to take
she's
her
the
down?
second fiddle.
She didn't want to learn.
Clearly a Class B character.
She didn't want him to learn the truth because she was afraid he was gonna freak out and leave. And she's like, I couldn't let you leave because we needed to figure out what the hell was going on here. And I was afraid if you learned the truth and freaked out that we would never get to the bottom of this and she would lose him forever. But then they do go back and piece the stuff together. Like it turns out he was there the whole time. He was just the crappy soldier, and yeah, he
was the hero. He did rescue her.
He's like, you
He
were
did,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, you were there. You did save me, and like,
So pieces were true.
yeah,
I think that's the cool part too.
Yeah.
Is
Right.
like some pieces were true. Just the crux of it, where he is the hero. He's the hero in some ways, but not like the one who arrived.
Not
He's
the way
literally
he sold it.
the nobody who stepped up when he had to.
What I learned today is that he was in the 2 for 4 years. I didn't know like they were because I was like,
I
what was he
thought it
doing the
was
whole
2.
time?
Yeah, I thought it was 2. I thought it could be just because of the 5 years, 7 years thing. I thought it was
Yeah.
2. I didn't
Crisis
play
Core.
Crisis Core, so
I did not either, but Crisis Core is what explained it.
Okay, so
we
I
get
wanna-
him back. We learn who he is.
we
and-
get him back. We do all that stuff. Sid becomes leader of the party for now, for a little bit. This is like we're getting the big materias, which was like I didn't love. I was like,
It wasn't
we're
great.
getting
Wait, say
big
again?
materia.
Which one?
Got to get the
Huge
huge
materials.
materia.
You got to get the huge materials.
That's
So
when you
like
got to
you
stop.
pile
gotta
them
stop
all
the
together.
train from going.
I thought it was the
through.
weapons at this point.
well, the weapons, yes. So you're
and they're drawn to material. And Mako, so
You're in-
they attack Junon. They attack.
what they
Midgar.
wanted to do was they wanted to gather all the huge material together, put it in a rocket, and shoot it at
Oh
the
right,
meteor.
that's when they are amping the Junon cannon. Correct.
So like
No, they
no,
did that
this
with
is
Sid's
different.
rocket.
Yeah, this is different.
they're juicing that with Mako.
The
right?
huge materia was a couple of things. They wanted to get the huge materia to put it in a rocket to shoot it at Meteor to blow it up. That was the plan anyway.
Oh,
So the first one, I
and we
believe
were taking
is-
it for reasons.
Yeah, yeah. We can't let them get their hands on it. We need
It's
it.
Shinra. We
Yeah.
don't trust them.
That was about it. Like,
Yeah,
no, we
okay.
need it.
Okay.
So you have to stop the train from plowing through coral, and then you get one from there.
Oh, yeah.
The other one's in the underwater reactor that you
Yeah.
get as they're putting it in
Oh,
the
is that
submarine.
the submarine
Yeah.
game? That's when they introduced the submarine. Okay.
Then there's the rocket one that is in the actual rocket.
So
And you
it
take
goes to
that
space.
one. Is there
Yeah.
another one that I'm missing? I think there was only the 3.
The train,
The train one I got.
train,
Submarine,
rocket,
and the rocket.
submarine.
I don't remember. if
You
there's
You may
another one.
stumble on one. You may like get one to begin with.
You said coral reactors.
It was all
red.
4 colors. It was all
Fort Condor, blue.
Oh, we didn't. Fort Condor was one.
Fort Condor was blue. You win the strategic mini game.
Yeah,
They're just
Gotta
forcing
do-
that
you
mini
yeah.
gotta
game on you.
defend against
Yeah.
Shinra troops.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So there's the Fort
Underwater
Condor one.
reactors yellow.
Mhm.
Rocket number 26 is green.
Yeah, so that's all of them.
Yeah, 4.
Yeah, the Fort Condor one. I
I
forgot.
don't
remember
this at all.
Yeah, this was not a great
What
Yeah.
part.
did I just block this out?
Maybe. I mean, they
You could do this with the train.
seemed like
Oh, the passcode mini. So they all have mini games attached
Yes.
to them a little bit, but yeah, because you had the submarine. Okay, I do remember this. Yes, I do remember this. The Gelnica.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. I do
No.
remember this.
No, the Gelnica was the already sunken submarine.
Yeah. Yeah,
But that's what
one you had to go
introduces you to the submarine.
Yes, it's not the one that you shoot down though.
No,
yes,
no, no,
yeah,
no,
yes,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's a
remember now.
different- that's a
Yeah,
different
and
one.
Shinra, the Shinra rocket is the passcode one.
Yeah,
I would
Yes,
grind.
okay.
I would
Yeah, yeah,
grind levels in AP in the Gelnica because those bosses,
Yeah,
those
mhm.
things were crazy. Okay, so we're now approaching like endgame. We get to the North Crater. Everything is like the meteors, like the world is about to be apocalypsed.
there's the return and parachute into Midgar, which is fucking
That
awesome.
is
Yes,
That-
that is cool.
so. Me as a person, clam up during sad scenes. Went into denial for Eris. I cried during the return to Midgar.
Would cry.
That was a big move.
I do
was
remember
cool.
love walking around the slums again.
And I think when you're parachuting out, because I think
Like
a
a
lot of things
god.
there's a lot of confluence there, and like you learn about Cloud's thing, but the group takes him back,
Yes.
and like that's a big moment. Like he's lied to himself and you,
and he's like kind of chill then.
and he chilled. He just becomes a very good leader.
He's like a
after
funny
that.
guy.
Yeah, and he says, "Let's mosey," right? It's his
Yeah.
last final battle call.
Yeah.
Like I fucking love him. And like that parachute scene is like the first time you kind of go as a team fully realized, you
Yeah.
know? And
Yeah.
like I was really moved, and you're returning to the start of the game.
Yeah.
And like that for me, I was like, that's a moving moment. Like I definitely like felt moved.
Yeah.
I didn't like it wasn't a weep moment, but I definitely was like I felt emotions.
Yeah.
during
Yeah,
that.
and the music, it was awesome there too. The whole
Kill Hojo.
Yeah, you had to go fight the Proud Claude. You take out
Yeah.
Heidegger,
Scarlet,
and
right?
Scarlet,
yeah.
and
Yeah, haha.
yeah,
And
Ugh,
kya ha ha.
kya-ha-ha.
All right. Yeah.
we took those two down.
Fat green meatball.
Steven, tell us how you really feel. Marry, copulate, kill.
No.
Heidegger,
No.
Heidegger. Go.
Copulate all of them.
Yeah, so we got we take them out, and then we have to take out Hojo, and then from there on, it's let's go get a gold chocobo.
Yeah, then it's like that's like
That's
do all the
tying up
things
loose
you.
ends.
Yeah, it's tying up loose ends. It's like ultimate weapons.
Yeah.
Ultimate limit breaks.
Yeah,
What were your loose ends? Yeah, what did you tie up?
Go get
your
yourself
top- what's
Knights
your
of the
top?
Round.
Knights of the
What's
round.
your podium? What's your podium of loose ends to tie up?
It took me a
before you
ton of
hit?
time to get the gold chocobo.
I hit 99.
I
um,
think I got 99.
I hit 99.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Oh no, actually, I beat it at level 68. I know this. I know I said 68 hours before, but I beat it at level 68. I remember that like it was yesterday.
Oh,
Yeah, I think I was in the 70s. I wasn't
Yeah.
99 yet.
Yeah,
But I kept my
didn't want it
save
to-
file and like I just like kept playing that game until I got everyone to 99. So,
Yeah,
like,
and
Did you get
there's-
everyone's ultimate weapon?
I eventually
I
did.
did. Not my
Yeah.
first playthrough.
Not the first playthrough, but
I
I
think
eventually did.
I got Yuffie's Conformer because I think that's pretty easy to get, and ultimate weapon. The rest were all question marks for me.
Catastrophe you get
Well,
on
that's a limit break.
the way up. I think is it not missing score?
Missing scores is
That's
fine.
on the way up after Proud Claude. It's on
Oh,
the stairs
yes,
on the way up
yes.
to Hojo.
But it is technically missable because it's a chest,
yeah,
isn't it? Yeah.
you can walk past it, but
Yeah.
it's pretty right in your face.
Yeah.
That's not a hard one to get.
Steven? Did you get Ari's ultimate weapon? No, you said you like rush past stuff. Did you get that? I did it in a second.
I've never gotten her fourth
I've
limit
only-
break or her
Yeah.
weapon.
I
I've
did.
only got it once.
You
No,
do,
no,
like the house and
the
stuff.
the Princess Guard is her ultimate weapon,
Oh, I got that.
and that you get in the
That's
Temple of the
early.
Ancients. To get her limit break, that's the one where you have to do
Never
the
got
even number of battles and
Yeah.
get the I don't remember what the hell it's called.
I forget how to do it, but I did it.
Never got that.
Then you go to
That's how much I like her.
the trader, and he'll give it to you.
Oh,
But that's
interesting.
to grind out a level 4 limit break for Ares at that point in the game is insane.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Wild.
I've done it once, but that was with Game Shark and battle cheating. I was no shot. I was going to try and grind it out normally.
Yeah.
But that's when you say you start tightening up loose ends, there's so much missable stuff at that point of the game because you can just go straight to the Northern Crater and call it a day. But there's you can go get the key to the city, and you can go back through and watch the cutscene, and you learn from Bugenhagen that she did summon the materia and all that stuff. You can go to Lucretia's cave and meet her with
that was
Vincent,
wild.
and you can, and she's like,
She's still
that's
alive.
right.
she's like, I still see him in my dreams. Like I never even got to hold him.
And
stuff
Vincent's like,
that.
oh, he's dead.
Yeah,
Vincent
Oh,
tells her
that's
he's dead.
right.
She's,
Mhm.
like she still.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
so hard.
yeah.
She's just in a
there's-
cave though. I was always like, you're just in a cave. Like I thought you were like I didn't. I was like, are you a ghost? Like, cause he's kind of like a ghost.
Yeah, it was
guy,
a
or-
little weird. Yeah,
Are you a ghost?
to try and-
Well, I think.
You seem like a ghost.
Alright.
You're giving ghost.
Are you Ghost? Is it Ghost or Gast?
No,
Oh, go.
no, I'm saying it's like I
Professor
was like,
Gas.
how is she alive?
Yeah. Because she's ancient at that point.
not ancient, but she would have
Very
been
old.
old. Like
Something else we just skipped over that I just remembered because I started thinking about the Turks and stuff was when you mentioned the Wutai where they're like, we're on vacation, we're not here to fight you. When you do the return to Midgar, you have the option of fighting them or just walking away, and they're fine with it,
Oh, yeah.
which is very cool to have that as like these guys have been like not our arch nemesis, but like like
Yeah,
your
rivals.
rival in Pokemon. It's like that guy
Yeah.
who's like he's always been
Guza.
there, like always been there just to give you that one little roadblock on your way through.
and it's cool when they do walk
and,
away.
and they're like, do we want to do this or like? And then they're like, yeah, no. Like I think at this point we're fighting the same thing. Like we're not like Shinra's done. Like
Yeah.
we're not working for anybody anymore. There's really no reason for us to fight you, and
Yeah.
like we will if you want.
The world
And
changes.
They're like, yeah, I think we're good.
The world evolves so much.
world
in that
changes
game. And
in
you're
that game.
like, it's just like anime does this particularly well at times, but like the amount of enemies and like assumed enemies that become either neutral or even friendly towards the end of the game, like those arcs are just
Yeah.
so transcendent. At 12 years old in games at that point, like nothing like it at that.
It's very very satisfying.
Yeah.
All right, Steven, you're at the Northern Crater. What are you thinking? What are you doing? You rushing this thing?
Yeah, I definitely rushed through it. I think one
You
of
didn't-
those,
you didn't tie up anything?
not my first playthrough, no.
No.
I mean, like, eventually was it, the game to get all of the materials.
Yeah.
Like, I think even when I fought Emerald Weapon the first time, I never even had underwater materia.
Oh wow, that
so
was
I
that's
remember-
a hard fight.
I remember-
Wait, what's the timer on that?
20 minutes.
20 minutes. Yeah, 1990.
Yeah, I remember beating that without the underwater material and freaking out. But no, I think once you get to the Northern Crater and then like you just watch your entire party
Split
there
up.
fan out, and then
Yeah.
you have to start picking your parties and the battle. Like it just
Which
was
plays out later, which is
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
mind blowing.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
just a wild time. But it's kind of like Breath of the Wild. I didn't want it to end, but
Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah.
Any enemy skill people in the house? I wanted to get all the enemy skills.
I was trying to, but like you had a few
Wow.
instances of enemy skill, number ones.
'Cause Pandora's box, I think you get down in the crater,
But I
but
never
that's
got
the
them
last
all.
one.
I
but-
never got them all.
I eventually did, but definitely not on my first playthrough. I was the same way where I was like, I've played this game now for months, and I am ready to beat this fucking game. And when we got to the Northern Crater and it was go time, like I just went, and you get the save crystal. I used it at the top,
Yeah.
because I was like, what does this do? And it just drops. I was like, oh shit,
I guess we're
Oh,
in.
yeah. Yeah, and I
That's
remember
brutal.
going through that. I remember the fight not being as hard as I expected it to be. Like
Same.
it was challenging, but like it was
Same.
not what I expected it to be. I think at that point I was way over leveled, and just kind of mowed through it like it really wasn't anything. But
The other two
I
parties, I,
called
was like,
my
oh
whole
shit.
family in.
You
I was
called your
like-
family
Yeah,
in?
I was like,
Yeah.
I beat it. So my mom, like, she hated this game so much because of how much time I would spend playing. How many times I would get screamed at, like dinner's ready. I was like, well, I can't save it. I'm in the middle, so I gotta wait for a save point. So like by the time like everyone in my house knew what the game was, and they were like, I was like, I'm beating it right now. Like you need to come watch this. And they all like I gathered everybody in to watch the ending of the game. And like to look back at it now, it's like these graphics are so dog shit.
Yeah.
But at the time, they were mind blowing.
transcendent.
And everyone was like, "This was really cool." Like I made them. I didn't make them sit through the whole credits to see the
25
post
minutes,
the
man.
post scene.
Yeah,
But
that
to
scene was-
to watch the whole thing was it was very very cool. And I think everyone's like, "That was fucking very
CRT.
yeah."
See, I don't know about you guys, but like my first playthrough when I thought I beat him and I didn't, and then it was the next form, and then
Yeah.
I thought I beat him, and then you got that
Yeah.
last cool
Yeah.
limit
the
break
false
scene.
the false floor.
Cuts to the eyes.
There are 3 false floors. 'Cause you fight
Yeah.
Jenova Synthesis first.
Yeah,
which
well, there's
is
three.
crazy.
There's 3 Genovas, right?
Well, there's 3 Sephiroths.
Well-
1 Jenova, 3 Sephiroths.
Yeah, it's Jenova Synthesis, Bizarro Sephiroth, Safer Sephiroth, and then the one-on-one when you just
You just
Yeah.
Omni Slash.
hit him in the face with the Omni Slash, which you
Mm.
don't have to do, by the way.
No, what do you
Do you
mean?
know?
He has 1 HP.
Yeah, if you
Oh, you could just attack them?
if you can't attack.
Defend.
You can't attack because by the time you go to do it, your limit is full. And if you were like me, you were just spamming the button because you thought you were about to die. If you sit there for long enough, Sephiroth will hit you and you'll just automatically counterattack and he dies.
Huh.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not a full Omni Slash. He just hits once and it's over.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That whole sequence. So I think there's the one thing that I was like, kind of blew my mind at this point is up to this point in the game, you have your 3 kind of dialed in. Maybe you have 4, you dabble in 5.
I was fully 3. I didn't do anything with anybody
I
else.
dabbled in 5 because I at this point I think I was gaming the game and I was like, catastrophe is too powerful to limit break, and I love Vincent as a character, but losing the ability to control him during his ultimate was his limit was a liability.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
he
it
was getting
sucked.
himself
It
killed
sucked.
and shit.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I can't do this. And so I think I fell back in love with Barrett. I apologized to him. We made up. I stood outside his window with a boom box. I brought Barrett back in. So it was Barrett, Sid, and I for the final go. But Bizarro Sephiroth, you fight as all 9 fucking people because it switches your frames. You have opportunities to fight as your other.
Can't you choose not to do it
Yeah,
though?
I never swapped.
Oh,
I never swapped.
I didn't. I don't think I knew you could not do it. I
Yeah.
don't remember why I did it, but like I thought that was the
a
fucking
little box will
coolest
pop
thing.
up and say something like, "Do you want to check in with the other party members?" And you'd be like, "No."
No.
You said no. I
Yeah.
thought
I was like,
they
I'm
would
good.
die or something if I didn't.
Yeah,
think
no, I was like,
that's-
"I'm good. These guys are good." I'm
We
Yeah.
fine."
lost Eris at this point. You're just gonna leave them to their devices and say,
I
"Hope this
trusted
works
Team
out."
1. You know.
That's what I went full team 1 as well.
Did you really?
That sting was so long ago. Yeah, no.
Oh, I played as every party member in that
That's
entire
crazy.
fight. It was fucking
I
awesome.
bet it was. Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
Oh, it was so cool,
could
man,
imagine.
'cause,
Cool.
like,
Oh.
Piloting
done that.
all 9 members for what you think is the final fight at that point was so cool.
Yeah.
And then of course Safer Sephiroth is your 3. But yeah, that fucking final fight, oh, it was so cool playing
Yeah.
as 9.
The music. The music is very much. It's very much inspired by Hendrix. There's like dun dun dun. dun.
Yeah, I hear it.
Oh,
now.
well, One Winged Angel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one way,
Okay.
and there's another lick in there where it's a direct lift. They like lick like there's a part of One Winged Angel if you're listening to it.
I'll have to go back and listen to it.
Yeah, it's the same sort of it's quick. It's quick,
Yeah.
but like the dun dun dun.
Oh, interesting.
That's fun.
Oh, interesting.
It's the same notes. Like the guy said he was inspired by it. Like,
Nobuo Uematsu.
yeah.
No shit.
So
Wow,
interesting
very
interesting little tidbit there. And then you beat the game, and then you fail because Holy doesn't do it.
Oh, Supernova.
Oh yeah,
So
Supernova.
long.
Supernova, yeah.
So long.
it's like 2.5 minutes long.
Supernova.
right?
You can. Yeah, I would. If you get into a death loop,
It blows up every planet in
Yeah.
the solar system,
but it doesn't do 9,999 damage.
and it goes to your
Yeah.
head. It's like
the sun.
Yeah.
the sun expands.
Yeah, it goes. It
And he's just standing
names.
behind you.
It names all the planets,
It names
suggesting
them
that
all.
this planet that we are on is in our current solar system.
Yeah.
But it's not.
So many
It's
questions.
not Earth. Like it's is it Gaia is what it's called.
Yeah, and you're
It's-
meeting it with Knights of the Round, which is a Britain mythos.
It's real.
I
funny.
don't think I had Knights of the Round my first playthrough. I think I went
I
back
did
and
not.
got
I don't think I had it
afterwards.
my
Yeah.
first. I think I had Bahamut Zero.
No chance.
Yeah,
I had Bahamut Zero was the
Zero
most
I had,
powerful
yeah.
thing I was rocking.
Awesome
at that point.
too.
Yeah, that one is
Circles around.
planet destroying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was very cool.
That
All
was-
the summons were so fucking cool, man.
The summons were mind blowing. They had
Except
like
for the giant chocobo one.
they had literal individual storyboard artists and writers, like almost a mini show director for each summon, or that would run the summons,
Yeah.
which
I remember
would make sense because
Odin was cool. The
Odin
six-legged
was
horse.
fucking
Odin was
oh
dope.
yeah, it would come riding out and then,
yeah,
Yeah.
Odin was fucking sick.
and then do the anime slash. Yeah, and ride through.
Death wasn't like there was a death one or
Demi.
Demi.
Hades.
Hades was another one.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the to do the strategy on how to beat Ruby Weapon, which I had learned about. Oh god, this is probably like 2002, 2003, somewhere in that range, where I had gone back through. I was like, because there's got to be an easier way, and the way to do it is you need W summon with Hades and Knights of the Round, because Hades will paralyze Ruby Weapon. So it will not counter with Ultima.
You can use phasers on him. There's
Oh.
item
Oh,
phasers.
yeah,
You
you
can do
can,
that
yeah.
too.
So, but if you do W summon Hades Knights of the Round and then mime mime, and you can just keep chaining that forever. He
Yep.
will never get attack off, and you just kill him. It takes a while, but you'll just kill him.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
And yeah, that's something that I learned. I've beat him legit quite a few times doing it that way. Emerald Weapon I never really had a problem with.
Emerald, I just felt like was long, but if you had the underwater, it was fine.
Yeah.
So you beat the game, you lose the game because Holy doesn't do it. Holy and it's like, remember the music? It's like goes sort of down,
Yeah, well, then the live stream
and then
joins
the
in.
live stream
Oh.
comes out of nowhere.
Eris's final act.
Yeah,
Comes out of nowhere.
yeah.
Eris's
And
final
it feels
act.
good, and they're like the high wind falls into the crater.
Yeah.
Remember?
He pulls it.
Oh,
Oh, shit.
yeah.
Yeah, and like Cloud is holding on to Tifa. He's like holding
Yep.
on to her, and he's like, I think we'll go see her there.
Dude,
Touching.
the amount of upper body strength in that
Oh,
cutscene.
holy
The amount of
yeah.
upper body,
Holy
everything in that
He's got-
scene.
he's got-
Lots
And
of
then he
upper
just
body.
effortlessly
He's
with his
got
fingers.
one hand, and then he's holding her entire body, pulls both of them up. He's like, yeah, you go first.
Yeah.
Just, what the
Yeah. No problem. And the cigarette falls out of Sid's
Yeah.
mouth.
Old,
Oh yeah.
old lady luck, don't fail me now.
Yeah.
There it goes.
Yeah. And then you beat the game. There's a lot of credits for a
Yeah.
really long time.
Then you see the Red 13 with his cubs.
Where Bill,
Was-
the after scene, right?
Yeah.
Two questions there. Where did you get those cubs?
You know where.
You
Is there another? Is there
There's a
another
red.
The male has the
14.
baby.
He is asexual.
He just produces. Okay.
Just produces, pollinates.
Does humanity survive? Because it looks like humanity doesn't survive. You can read that ending in a way that humanity doesn't survive.
I think that they purposely left that open-ended, but they've Final Fantasy VII itself was so successful that they were like, "There's no way we're ever just gonna let it
Yeah,
end."
of course. But as it
And
was
I
made,
I kind of wish they did. They didn't need to do Dirge of Cerberus or Crisis Core
Oh, yeah.
or
Money.
Yeah, I think Advent
Money.
Children and stuff like confirmed that.
There was really no.
but on the other hand, money.
Yeah, right.
Right,
I was
right,
like, there was no reason to keep it going. So like, I feel like they kind of like retconned a bunch of crap when they could have just left it and like left it up to our own interpretations, where we could sit here and discuss whether or not we think.
Well, I
that-
don't know. Like I did a little bit of Advent Children, but like this was like that scene was 500 years later. That scene was it said 500 years later,
Yeah.
and Red 13's running. So it's like all that stuff could have happened.
yeah.
But actually, you're right because
I
if
would've-
like Advent Children wouldn't have happened because it makes it seem like everyone survived. So
Correct.
like, all right, that
And then
no,
something else swiped them off the planet. I was like, well,
Yeah.
what was the point of all this?
yeah.
stuff?
Advent 7
Yeah.
comes out. Did everyone did humanity like because like life survived? Like there's birds
Yeah.
flying and
yeah,
there's
life's right.
trees.
It's
and
like,
Red
did we
13's
undo
out
ourselves type deal? Did we
there. Yeah.
delve too greedily like
Well,
the dwarves?
we saved the planet and
The next
got-
cast.
we got rid of the planet's biggest threat, which was us. And it's like, well, I mean, I guess we won, but
Yeah.
like, at what cost?
Because the whole game is like an environmentalist screed.
Yeah.
I think
Mm.
no one's seen Attack on Titan here, so I won't get into that. But I think there's it is ambiguous, but I think the ambiguity there is more of a like a life goes on thing versus a humans are gone type thing. I think it is like Red 13 is just like showing you that like the planet healed,
Yeah.
but
the
humans I
last-
think still exist in the healed planet.
I don't think you're wrong. There's no wrong or right here.
Yeah.
But it makes a pointed show of like Midgar is just covered in trees.
I think,
Yeah.
but Midgar is one city that I think is like bar
It's the
none
center of the
taker,
baddest.
taker from Earth,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yes, and I think it is showing that the Earth has healed despite Midgar's sins against it,
Yes, I would agree that.
and
Yeah.
you know, nature can heal, man-made stuff breaks down, but I think humanity survives.
yeah.
There was nothing to say there was a cataclysmic event that would have wiped things out, because the 9 of the Final Fantasy VII crew survive. I think that's pretty.
Maybe.
I don't.
You don't?
Maybe.
I'm sorry.
Well, it's 500 years later,
Yeah,
right?
it's 500 years later. So like,
But like,
if
yeah.
I guess my thing is like, if Red 13 survived, then everyone survived.
You would think.
right,
Yeah.
I mean, he was part of the crew, part of the
Yes,
ship, part of
yeah.
the crew.
So
Yeah, so like, yeah, if he survived, it stands to reason the others did. What else would have wiped out humanity?
Well, wait a minute.
AIDS.
Red 13's alive because he's not like he's chemically produced.
hard
like
AIDS.
Barrett would have been long dead.
We never really delved into like what Red 13 was. Like, is there just a race of like
That's why
fire
he's a
cat,
bad character,
Yeah, I
man.
think so.
dog fire cats
I think they're just dog people
who are
and
smart?
That's just who they are.
It's a bad character.
He's a good character. He's like Beast from X-Men. Okay,
And also a bad character.
Nah,
Beast was terrible.
can't.
Beast.
He is like
was-
Beast.
Thank you
I'll give you
everybody
that.
for listening to.
Beast was Kelsey Grammer. But he it's less than that because I mean Beast was a smart scientist where like Red 13 is clearly like he's old but he's a teenager according to their own ages. But like he's not as smart as he leads on, but he like was surrounded by very smart people.
He's
And-
spiritual, man.
yeah,
he's
and-
wise.
And I do think he's wise beyond his years, and he had a lot of growing up to do. And he's probably,
Yeah.
I think even just as a character and like watching him go through and see what his dad sacrificed and stuff, and being like, I want to be a hero like that is it's simple, but it's cool enough as it is.
Not a key.
Lightning round. If you could replace one character and you can't say Kate Sith with Aerith, who you picking?
What,
Yuffie.
Aerith survives, someone else dies in their place.
Yuffie.
I think I mean, yeah, like I can do without her,
I
but
mean,
like the emotional heft would be
I
Barrett.
was gonna say who would we
Ooh.
rather die, or who do we think would bear the same weight of?
No, who dies instead of Aerith? If you could keep Aerith alive as a character in the game and rewrite history and write a new depth, someone must die from the team, and it can't be Kate Sith.
Okay, so the game wouldn't be as good, but you just
Right.
say give Yuffie. But like I think the game would be equally as good if you give Barrett.
Yeah,
because like
Barrett
you
would hit
lose the
hard.
Marlene connection, Cloud or someone would have to adapt her. It would have an equal emotional resonance. It would be 1/3 of the game though, because she is the character she is, and
Red 13
I think character. I think
all the way.
I hate you. Character arc wise, I would say Vincent. Like to complete his arc based on
Well, that'd be a good
Sephiroth,
sacrifice.
I could see Sephiroth trying to protect Aerith, and getting.
That'd be a good sacrifice too, because
Yeah.
Vincent's kind of
yeah,
a
that would be a redemption arc.
tsundere, brooding.
I think a typical
character.
game would do that, and it would be good, and we wouldn't be talking about it 27 years later,
Yeah,
True.
True,
right?
I agree.
That would be good.
I think if you were to replace Ares with a different death, it would have to have the same kind of weight. And there's you could throw. I mean, if they kill Sid, we'd be like, it sucks. Sid died.
No, I
Yeah.
was saying,
Like,
I was
you
saying
wouldn't-
from a
Yeah,
selfish,
you wouldn't
from
have the
I was
same
saying from
pull.
a selfish
Selfishly
standpoint. Selfishly, you can save Aerith, but you have to sacrifice another character. I don't even think you have Yuffie at this
Kill
point in the
Tifa,
game.
man.
You,
Get her
you
fuck-
can.
get
You
her
do?
have
Okay.
Yuffie, yeah.
Get Tifa out of there.
Wow. Okay.
Yuffie.
Yuffie. That makes.
I'd
total
string her up
sense.
like the Midgar Zolom.
Jesse did this. Only one man could do
Did
this.
Jesse do this?
She's corkscrewed up a tree.
Speaking of Jesse,
Which is a real horror scene.
Yeah,
by
that
the way.
scene's also fucking
the
cool.
whole
cool.
Jesse
Ah,
Biggs and
Jesse
Wedge.
Biggs,
Yeah.
Wedge,
Oh, we didn't
yeah.
even touch on them.
Oh my
Rip.
Shooting at the wall.
Oh, Barrett? Yeah,
Yeah.
Barrett's.
He went through
I
Lost
identify
Man.
so much with Barrett
He-
in later life.
If like Ares is the heart and he's like the soul.
And like Barrett's ability to recognize, because he has the chance to step up and lead the team, and he's the leader of Avalanche, and
He
he goes,
backs
"No,
up.
this is too big for me,"
Yeah.
and he gives it to Sid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a character.
He's like, I can't do this. I messed up. I'm a terrorist.
Yeah, he realizes that as much as he wants to be a leader, he's not. Like his heart is in it, but like he doesn't have the rally in him. He can't.
He also
I think he
he's
literally says,
self-aware.
like, I think
Yeah.
he's literally like, this is too big for me, A, and B, yeah, he's like, I've done wrong, and I'm willing to
Yeah.
take a back seat and help.
Because in the beginning he's just bravado, right? He's just big talk.
There ain't no
Yeah.
getting off this train. we're
Well,
on,
he
right?
is,
Like,
but like, and there's also the part where Elmira, like Aris's adopted mother, was like, "Yo, like, why are you going out? Like, you got a kid. Like,
Yeah, what are you
chill
doing
out."
here?
And he's
Yeah.
like, "I know, but like, he's like,
the
"I
planet's
got-
dying.
planet's dying." Like, he's like, "I know, like, I know, I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth here, but like."
Yeah.
Yeah, I just identify so much with him.
But you also don't know at that point, like, what his backstory was, and like,
Yeah, he's just a hothead
yeah.
Yeah.
leader,
With a machine gun on.
military
Well, like
man.
he's already seen a town ruined. Like he's seen Writ Small. What Shinra is going to do to the whole world. Like
right,
they're
and
just gonna
he is yes, and living through Coral, I think he is very much.
like this is just going to keep happening.
And yeah, he's like, I've seen the atrocities and the evil that
He's
Shinra
like,
is capable
I
of.
can't afford to. I can't afford not to.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely a character that
I'll give you some Barrett voice lines.
Yeah,
he's,
no, not yet. No,
he's definitely a character that when I first was introduced to him, I was like, this guy is a loudmouth,
This Mr. T.
douche. Like, I don't want to listen to the stuff he's saying. Like, he's
Yep.
like it's all about the planet, and like we like I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
and like it was just too much of like
fine, Cloud.
yeah, he's just too much of a like loudmouth showboat guy that like I didn't like. If he wasn't in my party, it wouldn't bother me at all. And as the game goes on, I was like, I really love this guy. Like,
Yeah.
that's like, it's very cool to do, but like it's hard to do that. Like,
So hard.
you make a character that is like immediately unlikable, and somehow like I would die for this dude. Like,
Yeah.
in a
But
heartbeat, I would die for
I
him.
think most of the characters go through that arc. I mean, like, save for Vincent, who's cool out of the gate and just stays cool, but because he's not as developed as the other characters, in my opinion, like,
Yeah, he gets the short end of the stick compared to Yuffie, who actually does get a
Yuffie-
good arc.
Yuffie gets a great arc.
She does, yeah.
She gets a sick arc. You go back to Wutai and
Yeah.
get her conform request and like go through all that,
Yeah.
and like the ninja.
She
You
like
hear,
learns her dad's like actually pretty cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
And she like learns that she's also been a Barrett style hothead and been an asshole.
Or
And
the-
like, whoops.
It's true.
Also,
the arm, you know?
The
Yeah.
Wutai music lives in my head rent free.
What was she? What was she wearing? Like a bear arm?
She has
arm?
it's like
like a
it's
bear
a
claw arm.
it's a so Rebirth explains that it's like it is a covering, but it's also part of she wears like a Mog or Moogle kind of coverall type hooded attire, and it's like a part of like her little shtick. But yeah, it's like a armor.
All I know is she has this like wheel of death that she throws around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sick shuriken, man.
She throw it, or she goes up to them and hits it, and comes back.
Sometimes she slashes with it. Sometimes she throws it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Final thoughts. Pat,
Good game.
Steve.
Phenomenal game. Honestly, 7 through 10 live rent free. And I think 7 was the one that really started it all. So got to give it credit.
Chris.
The game, I think, changed the trajectory of many lives, mine included. It was one of the games that made me want to work on games. And Tifa and Cloud's the greatest love story ever told. And Eris is but a footnote in that entire
I wasn't
thing.
listening, and and it sank in. You might well argue Tifa. I mean, Yuffie and Cloud. It's the same level of connection.
Do you remember the promise that Yuffie and Cloud made to each other when they were kids?
If you take her
I
on
do.
the date,
Mm.
if she gives you a kiss, she has a crush on you.
Yeah.
There it is. All right, this has been
Wait, your final thoughts, Jesse.
this game changed my life along with EverQuest.
Yeah.
In that these are the two sort of pillars of my life, and they will be probably of like one of you can keep the music going. They will be like I'm gonna have like 10 final thoughts before I die on my deathbed, and like 8 of them is gonna be my family, but like 2 of them is gonna be FF7 and EverQuest.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
And that's not too bad.
They say you see your life flash before your eyes, and I don't think there's a life that would flash before my eyes that doesn't
It's
involve.
gonna be
FF7
me
in
on
some
my
way.
tan carpet in my back room playing this game on a CRT.
I think I'm gonna replay it.
Thanks everybody for joining us for this is whatever this is, and we will see you all soon.
Oh, hey, and thank you, Steven, for
Mm.
this kick-ass setup, buddy.
Yeah, just let me have
Plug in
this.
Steven at Steven Boy Red 13 man.
Actually,
fan.
plug your podcast.
Yeah.
Plug your
Yeah,
podcast.
plug your podcast, sir. To all of our listener.
Sure. Podcast is TCLP, the Craft League podcast. So fantasy season is coming up. I am the reigning Sacco, which is phenomenal. So I have to wear a white taxidermied deer scrotum around my neck. Looking forward to it. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of payments and punishments and payouts. So come listen.
It's real?
Yeah.
Well, that we'll find out next episode. Leave the hook. Leave them wanting more.
Where do you buy that? Let's find out together.
See, I think you just make it.
All right. Thanks all. What a pod. What a cast.